Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bears Country Podcast. We are here on another Thursday night with our awesome, amazing guest, Lester Wiltfong Jr. We did what, 7 games this year on PSF together?
Yeah, at least 7, right? I mean, we were the stars of PSF Bears because everyone else was tied up, so it was usually us filling in the gaps. So it was fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of people on too.
Hey, Lester.
What's up, guys?
So yeah, what is up, guys? How are you all? How is everyone doing tonight on this Thursday night?
I can't complain.
Good.
All right, well that's good.
How about
What's up? I'm good. I'm pretty good. I'm a little exhausted from work, but the show must go on.
Feeling refreshed yet?
I am. I'm going to be a lot more refreshed after this combine happens this weekend, which we'll get into in a minute. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys that we are now presented by BetUS. Make sure, I know it's not the NFL season anymore, but go check out BetUS. If you do like to bet, you can bet on the NBA and Major League Baseball coming up. And if you do, please use that link at the bottom there. It's also in the description of the channel, and you'll get 125% bonus on your sign up and your deposit. So BetUS. Guys, it's the lying season. So there's a lot of lying going on right now. And we'll get into that in a second. But let's address the chat really quick. PJ?
And before, if you do any betting, please bet responsibly. But as far as the chat, we got Foster Covers in here. We got Cliff Victoria, Doug Van Dorn, Mark Kazak. It's good to see you again. Mr. Mayhem, welcome aboard. Steve Grunwald, I see you were coming here a little bit earlier than normal, so good to see you. Who else we got in here? Guy named Mr. Shorty. Whoever that guy. I think he's a Tyson Bagent fan or something.
James Ford.
James Ford, good to see you, my man.
Hilarious. I've been excited to do another show with you, or have you on the show here with us again, I should say, Lester, after us doing the PSF app together this year, and getting to know each other, and went to the same high school together, for crying out loud. That's just, I can't get over that. Our first game that we did on PSF, they actually played a Round Lake High School girls flag football commercial. Yeah. And we were both just like, what is going on in the universe right now?
That's the Panthers, Round Lake's finest up there on screen. Roberta Garza was there doing a thing, I believe it was. And yeah, it was kind of interesting to see. It was cool, though. It's, like I said, small world, man. And then the internet makes the world even smaller because here we are.
We are RL. We are RL.
Dancing.
I know that we talked a lot as the season was going on, Lester, and you at one point were just certain that they were trading that first pick. If we got the first pick from the Panthers, they were going to trade it. And I feel like we're just beating a dead horse with the quarterback talk. So I think ultimately we will talk about it more than I would like to, but I want to know, like, where do you stand now with your thoughts on that? I know that you have a little bit more insider info than we have. So, and other people we've talked to think that they're trading the pick too. So do you think that they're keeping Justin and trading that pick now?
Yeah, I mean, as the season was progressing, you're like, yeah, they did the rebuild, Justin's first year with Getsy. They went through the 3-win season. Here they are, they're trying to build it up year 2. It just, no one thought that they were going to move on from Justin at that point. As the season goes on, the doubts start creeping in. Some of the mistakes pop up. The film's not as clean as you would like to see. And look, it's not all Justin Fields. This has been talked about ad nauseum. Luke Getsy was bad. Eberflus's conservative nature was bad. As much as they did build up the offense around him, there's still some holes there, and it's some problems. So he was not put in a good situation. But the situation now is, after 3 years of film, good, bad, whatever, I think they're going to move on from Justin Fields, and they got a chance to draft the top quarterback on their board, and that's what, if you listen to national pundits, and that's pretty much what they've all been talking about. Every now and then, like we talked about on the pre-show, there's a there's a small nugget of rumor that pops up that there's some talk. Yeah, they're talking about everything. All options are on the table, but I think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, Justin Fields is probably traded within the week, and then they'll figure something out about the number 1 draft pick.
I'm going to let you go, Foster. Go ahead. Or PJ, you take that.
I'm not taking it. I'm not saying a word. I'll mute myself.
Well,
you want me to pull you? Here, I'll just pull you. There you go. You're out of here.
it is the talk. It is the more. I mean, it's the preferred talk. That's all I'm seeing for the most part, except for certain diehards and a few of these podcasters that there's no way that they should move on. You need to get that haul. You need to get those 5 to 7 picks, and then you could still build the team. But they might have. There might have been a few things he was saying in a couple of the interviews that people are taking one way or the other. But looking at all of it, I can't take anything out of the way the other. There's one thing I will say. I watched a bunch of the interviews because there's tons of them. The Florio interview was good because he got some questions in that he gave solid answers to, and I really liked the way he answered the questions because he's basically being honest and upfront, misleading in a few directions because he has to, because of where we're at. Lester, you were talking about it before with it. Yep, it's combine and lion season, man. Here we go. So I did catch one interview, and I really was trying to find that before the show here, and even just now, where I forgot what the question was, but when I saw the look on Paul's face, because he laughed or he smiled real intensely, like, yeah, I got you fooled, and then laughed, and then immediately kind of changed his face back. I think it was a couple of days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. I'm looking for that, and I was like, so does anybody really know what he's doing? And I thought, man, did him and Fields, because Fields was laughing in that interview with the brothers. Are they the only ones who know? Did they play some game on all of us, or is it just what it is? And Fields did disfollow the Bears in the NFL, and that kind of maybe put a chink in the armor in their relationship too. I mean, there's too many things that can go into it. So the good thing is there's still information to gather, and they've got this pile of information, and they've got how many options, man? I heard there was more people interested in the first pick than last year, and then Poles in an interview yesterday said, yeah, there's 2. He said basically what it sounded like was he had gotten calls, but there's only really a couple. He got it down to a couple legitimate offers for that pick. So, and who knows, man? I touched that subject.
I got a question. Can I interject with a question real quick? And this is for anyone on the panel regarding this trading back scenario. Can you guys see a scenario where if the Bears traded down with New England, the number 3, that Arizona would then trade with Washington to get the number 2 to get Marvin Harrison before us? Could you guys see that? No.
Stranger things have happened, but
That's an interesting thought.
Because I was thinking that, because if we call ourselves trying to outsmart, make sure that the Arizona don't get Marvin Harrison Jr., we really want him, so we trade back to number 3. And by then at number 3, thinking that Washington and New England will get the quarterbacks, that we'd be safe at number 3. But then Arizona saying, hey, we really want Marvin Harrison Jr., let us trade with Washington, and if Washington would do it.
Well, the thing is, Washington is desperate for a quarterback. Right. They're either going to take Caleb Williams if they get a chance to move up to 1, but in your scenario, it sounds like the Bears are trading with the Pats. They're going to come up get their top quarterback. Let's assume it's Caleb Williams,
right?
And then now if Washington's sitting there, they're going to take their quarterback on their board. Yeah. Because if they risk trading back, thinking, okay, Chicago's staying with Fields, they're not going to take a quarterback. Now what happens? here comes a call to someone in Chicago. Hey, we want to go to 3, and we're going to take a quarterback. Now Washington's left out their quarterback there too.
Okay.
Damn, that's a good one.
That's solid. And then I don't see Arizona moving up. If anything, I see them if they're not going to get what they want, I see them moving back because they're just stuck in a money problem. They've got more issues. They've got tons of spots to fill. They're stuck in a money issue. They've got a quarterback signed. There's just too many things that entails into that, Pete. I wouldn't, but you never know. I wouldn't expect it to happen. I already ran that scenario because somehow I wanted the Bears to make a trade with the Cardinals because of the picks the Cardinals have over the next this year and next year, man. I mean, that would set them up. They could possibly get 3 first-rounders, actually, if they traded 9 back and were able to, or 4 back or 9 back and pick up another first-rounder. I mean, just the scenarios are just it seems like there's way more scenarios this year with that trade than there was last year as I'm starting to do some mocks and looking at players. So,
what do you think, Walt?
I was going to say, Foster, I mean, Arizona kind of needs every pick it can get right now.
Yep.
I don't see them moving, at least getting rid of those picks.
Right.
Okay.
Because they have, 4 and 27 right now.
Yep.
And I know a lot of the simulators, like you were saying, if we move back to 2 and then they come with an offer of 4 and 27, and then it's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
I don't see the front office in Arizona making a trade like that. I mean,
if
they did, you'd have to be okay with getting rid of Marvin Harrison Jr. So it depends on what you're willing to sacrifice. As with all these picks.
I did one mock where that worked out. Check this out. I got Dallas Turner, Odunze, and Jackson Powers Johnson. So I was like, boy, if we could get those 3 in the first round, but ain't happening.
Yeah.
Have you done any mocks yet, Lester?
I have not done too much. I played around with some of the simulators to kind of see how things fall. But yeah, I haven't really done too much. It's when the combine ends, then I'm probably going to dive in and I always do theme mocks. I don't really try and make it too realistic. I like my way I use mocks as a tool to learn more about prospects. Cause I mean, we all know the guys in the first round. We all know probably a couple guys that your Bears get a second round. I don't know who the hell these guys are in the late rounds. I don't grind tape like our guy Jacob or EJ. I just don't got that kind of time. So what I do is I use mocks. I'll do an all offense mock and I'll kind of see how things fall. Do an all defense and all offensive line mock just to kind of see how things are falling for me. So once the combine's over, free agency rumors will start to heat up. That's going to be in the 11th, I believe. So I'll probably do a pre-free agency mock. And then after that, I'll probably do 3 or 4 just to kind of see how the board's falling.
I'm the same way. I'm not. I really don't get into, and for a reason. If I start scouting players too early, and I start to fall in love with players, then I get to the point where I have 5 guys at every position, and they don't take one of them, and I'm sitting there with crying because I really wanted this guy, and then I watch him play well in the NFL, and I'm like, damn it. So I kind of like to get closer to the draft before I start really looking at some of the players I think the positions I should say that we're going to be drafting.
Yeah.
And then, I'll get a handful ready. And then if we draft one of them or not, I'll really dive into them and figure, I think it's more of a post-draft process for me than it is a pre-draft process. I get why it's so exciting to so many people, but for me, it's like almost heartbreaking. It's like if I really chose to fall in love with Caleb Williams and they didn't draft him, then I would be heartbroken that they didn't finally, they had the first pick with a quarterback that's sitting there like that and they didn't take him. It would break my heart. So for me, that's why it's like I just trust in Poles at this point. Whatever he wants to do, if he wants to keep Justin, I'm fine with it. If he wants to go quarterback, I'm fine with it. I honestly just don't see this team pulling trigger on that. I don't. I think it's all smoke and mirrors right now. I think that everyone talking about, and every single person that we had Glenn Morgan on last week from NBC Sports thinking the same thing as what you're saying, Lester. And I think that's all part of the narrative. The NFL world has to think that the Bears are going to take Caleb Williams. Because if they don't, the pick is worth nothing. It's not worth as much, I should say. So I really, truly, in my heart of hearts, and I'm fine with it either way, think that they're keeping Justin Fields. And they're going to who knows? There are so many things that can happen with that scenario. And do not pull me. Let me finish my damn sentence.
I'll let you
One
finish.
of them, I brought up this on the show earlier. I'm just waiting to get pulled.
Oh, you better get pulled, brother.
There is talk that I'm just waiting. Okay, I can finish, right? That Bajent is getting bigger.
Nope, you cannot finish. Nope, you cannot finish. Nope, sure can't. No, sir.
Well, Lester, I'll have to talk to you in private on this because I can't. I'm never going to be able to say it on my own show.
I'll also let you say it
Pulled
too.
every time I even get there. But you know what I'm saying, right? They keep Justin. Let's say he gets injured. For sake of being pulled, just use your own imagination, because he probably will get injured again at some point, either for a game or two. So who's to say that he isn't? Have you seen? Has anyone seen the show Dynasty yet?
Chad, do y'all see what we go through? Do y'all see what we go through? Even in our private meetings, he's talking about Bajent. Chad, do y'all understand what we go through?
Has anyone seen the series Dynasty yet? About the Patriots?
No.
They had Drew Bledsoe. He was like the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, $100 million contract, and he gets injured in like the second game, and they were losing that game, and then Brady comes in, and they never gave the reins back to him. So
that's Tyson Bajent right there, right?
I'm just saying.
You just compared Tyson Bajent to the greatest quarterback of all time. Okay.
I know what I just did.
PJ, shut him down, PJ. Shut him down.
Undrafted rookie.
There you go.
Okay.
To a 6th rounder.
we all know Dan loves Tyson Bajent, so we're having fun.
2 rounds off. One was drafted late, the other one was not.
Thanks, Lester. That's all I got to say. You understand now, Lester, what we go through.
Oh, I understand, man. The PFF app, the shows we did, I think we had 2 Bajent games. Look, I like Bajent. I think he's a good prospect. He is going to be in the NFL for a long time, collecting paychecks and holding clipboards. I don't see him as a starter in this league long term. It could happen. You never know. You get in the right scheme, right system, right guys around him. It could happen, but he's not doing it for the Bears next year.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see what happens. You never
There's
know.
a lot of what ifs that can happen.
Yeah. What if Justin throws for 40 touchdowns?
Well, then he would be the MVP of this year, like I thought he had potential to be last year.
Okay. All right. Because I never hear those pontifications out of you, so I was wondering.
Hey, we pontificated him being an MVP candidate last year before the season started.
Not in the detail like you do with a super agent, man.
No, it's secret Bajent, man.
I stand corrected.
Just pull him for the rest of the night unless he promises to leave Bajent out of the conversation.
Finally, I can get some sleep.
Yes, that's what he wants. He wants to get pulled.
Have you been doing any other research on anything like as far as like pre-draft stuff? Like who are you looking for in this combine, Lester? Like who are you looking for as far as measurables are concerned? Are you looking for arm length on a certain guy or?
Yeah, I mean that's Ryan Poles' MO. I mean they seem to have a type, right? Like they like athletes. Especially if we're going to talk offensive line. I mean, they have that threshold. I know Darnell Wright came in a little under the 34-inch arm length, but like we talked about, it's like this much under. He was like an eighth of an inch. He has the type of torso that kind of makes up for the lack of length there. But yeah, I mean, once the O-line combine starts, and I forget if it's tomorrow or the next day, I'll definitely be checking those out, looking for the athletes, because they still going to run the outside zone type of scheme. They still, Coach Flus says, get your track shoes. He still wants athletes, getting to the second level, getting on their track, making their blocks. So yeah, you look for athletes but honestly, I mean, I think the Bears are pretty comfortable at O-line right now. We'll see something happen. I think free agency, they're going to attack center. And then they're going to look probably later in the rounds to kind of build up some of their interior depth. But you cannot go into this draft with a hole at center when you don't have a second round draft pick. So,
speaking of athletes, my friend Walt here reminded me. Did you see what Dallas Turner did?
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Did you see what he did today at the combine? Oh my goodness. He got to be a target at number 9 for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner, the defensive end out of Alabama.
Where's your guy from Utah, Walt?
Probably mid to late second round.
I wanted to ask you, Walter, what do you think they should do at center? I mean, like, I'm the opinion of we got to sign one and send him because really all we have on the roster right now is Kramer.
Sure. I mean, people talked about Evan Brown from Seattle. That would be pretty good, kind of a stopgap. Bring him in for a year or two, then go ahead and get like a Zach Frazier or a Van Prank. I mean, I like Jackson Powers Johnson, don't get me wrong. I just don't see him as being as obtainable as the other two in terms of, if you're going to rank these prospects. He's just kind of in a weird spot. He's in that probably end up going somewhere in the late teens in terms of the first round based on his Senior Bowl performance. So you got to wonder, it's like, I picked 1 and I picked 9. I can trade back some of those and get some picks, but again, what am I willing to sacrifice? And I spoke with someone else in a private chat recently, and we were talking about Dallas Turner doing the 40.5 vertical, 4.47, 40-yard dash and all that. And I said to him, he goes, he probably won't even crack the top 10 in terms of drafts, because this class is so deep in a ton of positions. And I go to him and I said, listen, you're probably right, but I don't want to Band-Aid the edge position anymore. We did that last year with Yannick Ngakoue, and we still had to go out and spend to get Montez Sweat. Now Ngakoue's gone. Rasheem Green is gone. We have 2 open spots here now. Let's go out. Let's swing big and go grab somebody to shore up that line, because we were better as the season went on. We got Montez Sweat, but
yes,
we still need people on there. We need people on the interior of the defensive line too.
Why isn't Ngakoue gone though?
His contract's up.
Free agent, yeah.
So
his contract's up, and he broke his ankle. And he was ineffective when he was there anyways.
Until we got Montez Sweat and he had 4 sacks.
And even
wait, he had 4 sacks for the year.
Yeah.
After we got Montez Sweat, he got
no, sir.
Well, he got what, 2, 3?
I think he only got 2 after Sweat was here. Maybe 2 after Montez got here. But yeah, he only had 4 for the year.
I mean, I think his overall pressure numbers ticked up a little bit when they got Sweat, but overall it was a down year, the worst year of his career.
Right.
He's. I mean, I wrote about this in my article a while back when I talked about D-line. I wouldn't mind him back. He's not coming back at $10 million. Right. But if you bring him back in as a guy, part of your rotation, if they strike out everywhere else, but because again, we talk about you can't go into the draft with a hole at the second edge. I think they're going to target an edge. I think they're going to target a center, and then they're going to go do what they can do in the draft. But yeah, like Walt's saying, there's some nice talent there. It's just a weird place where the Bears are currently at. And I mean, I'm sure Poles will maneuver around a little bit here and there, but last year going into the draft with a hole at right tackle was a little different because of the situation of the draft where you knew where you're drafting. There was no one taking a right tackle, Darnell Wright. And that was clearly their top guy. They knew he'd be there for them. And then they went back one spot with the Eagles and picked up an extra pick for it. It's a weird situation that's not playing out this year where the Bears currently are at right now. So they got to fill those holes.
Yeah.
I just don't see. I see a defensive end being signed in free agency, and then
I see both.
And a later round defensive end though. I don't see a high picked defensive end. If they are going to fulfill your dreams, PJ, and keep Justin Fields, they need to stock up and double down on offensive weapons for him, and that includes offensive line.
Well, I agree with that, but if you look at the evidence, and the evidence for me says that Poles is extremely high on Braxton Jones. He said it even in the exit interview how he, if at the most, he may bring in a tackle to compete, but not a tackle to replace. So that being the case, I see, okay, him needing a center. If he spends money, big money on a center in free agency, I don't see him drafting JPJ in the first round. That won't happen. So therefore, with that second first round pick, I see him looking at edge. Now I'm looking at edge in the sense of, if you look at Hunter, is probably the best free agent edge out there. However, he's going to cost probably about $30 million. We already got $24 million a year invested in Sweat. So I don't see him spending that much money on Hunter. So therefore, you got to look for a cheaper defensive end. So you want to look for a cheaper defensive end. Now you're looking in the range of probably the guy from New York, Huff, or Chase Young. Those are the or Dockway, even at a lesser price. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, depending on, even with the Young, you probably have to give around 12, but heavily incentive late. You gotta say, okay, man, if you reach this benchmark, you get this much more, those type of things. So I don't see him going for any other position outside. I mean, that's of course, if he's with that first pick, going with a wide receiver. That's what I'm looking at. So if with the second one, now he's looking at an edge. So therefore, you get the edge in the first round, you get a edge in free agency that's going to cost you around 12 to 15 million, and you combine him with Sweat, so you have 3 edges that you can rotate, and I think that's where he's at.
Let's not forget that the salary cap increase just paid for Montez's Sweat contract plus. So it wouldn't be so out of the realm of thought for them to go after a Danielle Hunter because of that.
You don't want to invest that much money in one position. I think how GMs typically look at it is, if I got 2 edges, I'm going to pay one, and I'm going to try to keep one on either a cheaper contract or a rookie contract. He's not going to have 2 highest. That's where Washington messed up at. You have all these high paid players. That's not how you can do it, man. You can't do it like that.
Plus, you kind of need that complement too, where you have a ton of power in Montez Sweat. You need somebody with a lot of speed off the edge. And I mean, Ngakoue was technically a speed rusher last year,
right?
But I mean, you look at a guy like a Chop Robinson or Dallas Turner who are busting out, sub 4.5 40s. You can't pass it up. You got to go for it. And like what PJ said, you have Danielle Hunter, great. He can give you double-digit sacks, but he's going to be on the wrong side of 30 pretty soon, and he's going to run you $20+ million. So, and you still got to pay JJ. So you either pay him or you tag him. Either way, you're going to spend probably 16 to 20 million in that range somewhere. So let's not forget that.
So I can't see him paying 2 edges $20+ million a piece.
Do you think they're keeping JJ, Lester?
Yeah. He's not going anywhere. They were working on a long-term deal. Poles talked about it. I kind of thought something would be done by now, but bottom line is they've made it very clear they value him as a player. My guess is they're going to have to do the franchise tag this year, try and work something out. If they can't, then you know what? They'll franchise tag him a second time. I mean, the first year franchise tag, I think it's because the cap went up, it's going to be 19 million. So that's his starting point. When he's looking for a long-term deal, he's already over 20. That's where he's going to start for his average. So, if they can't get there on a long-term deal, the tag is going to be in play. And then it's up to him if he signs or not. But I mean, at his age, he wants to get that clock going because he can have a chance to cash in again. He's 24. If you tag it twice, he's not going to lose any of his prime years of playing. So he'll sign it. He'll play a year if he has to. They'll tag him again because he's a good football player.
I think he fits the mold of what they're doing on defense here.
Yeah.
I mean, albeit his best games were against some of the crappier teams other than the Lions, but he did perform this year. Got to give him that for sure. But we talked about this before. Like a lot of guys, most guys perform in their contract years, right, Lester? I mean, you see it happen all the time. Guys are balling out, they get paid, then they, Eddie Jackson, players, happens a lot more than we think about. Foster, you're awfully quiet.
Nope, just listening, man. I actually had said something before, and now it's just so out of relevance because so much time has gone by. So just finish your sentence, Dan, because I don't know if you were done.
No, I was done.
Okay.
I was just I look around the room and you haven't talked much, so I was just trying to get the ball back in your court.
I wanted to go back to the center. I was just going to ask Lester this, if, because we had discussed this, and I'm of the mind of signing a free agent and drafting one, because the only guy that we have under contract right now is Kramer, and he saw 20 snaps in the last 2 seasons. So, I mean, what do you think they should do on that aspect? Do you bring Patrick back for a year and bring in a rookie? If you're going to bring in a new quarterback, you don't want a rookie center. So what would you do if we're drafting Caleb, like everybody's talking about? What do we do at center?
Yeah, I mean, Walt mentioned Evan Brown. That'd be a good idea as a stopgap. He knows the system. He played in Seattle last year with Waldron. Yeah. But for me, man, I say swing big, man. Go get Lloyd Cushenberry out of the Broncos. 24, 25 years old. He's still relatively young. I mean, maybe not that young. He's 26. I'm not sure. I looked it up earlier. But he is in his prime. He's played 4 years in the league. We talk about guys performing on their contract year. That's what Cushenberry just did. He had his best season as a pro. But you know what? He's also getting better. So does Ryan Poles think the best is yet to come? I would assume so, because like I said, he's fairly young. He's good in pass protection. He understands all the calls. He's been the quarterback of their O-line in Denver since he's been there. He's been their starting center since day one. Cushenberry is my guy. I mean, he's going to cost you a lot. He's probably going to be, $13 million annual average, maybe a touch higher, but you got the money, and that's who you need right now, because you need that center spot filled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Warren, who's the guy from Seattle?
Evan Brown.
Evan Brown. So they're talking, like you said, 13.5, 14.5 for Cushenberry, and 4.5, maybe 5 max for Brown. So a lot of it's going to depend on what we actually have for cap space. I don't know if these figures include, depending on how many draft picks we have, we need at least $13 million if we just have the 6 picks that we have now. So we need $13 million for those. I mean, that's guideline, but if we do any trading, that could go as high as $16 million. And we've got to give JJ his $19.3 million is what I pulled up today from Sports Tracks for the cap, just the cap hit, 19.3. So he's at 20 mil a season. So you're, what is that, a 60-something million dollar contract probably for him over 3 seasons. Just depends on what deal they lay out.
And if
you got to look at the finances too, but I Cushenberry would be the guy, and I don't know for how long Walt's been talking about him too, but I think we might have switched to Evan Brown just because of financial responsibilities. At least they've got options. There are some good options, but I'm with you, man. I shoot for Cushenberry if you can get if it's feasible to be able to have the money to do the other things that we need to do.
Well, Foster, just to give you an idea, you were asking for cap space. Right now, over the cap has the Bears at second in terms of cap space, at $78,335,157, and the effective cap around $66 million.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the key there is the effective cap space. That's pretty much that's calculated. That's when you figure, because the way the league is, you only count your first 51. So that's taking into account your top 51, and it's also factoring in the money you're going to spend on your draft picks. So if you're at 68 now, you figure take 20 off the top because Jalen Johnson, you're still sitting there with $45 million to fool around with. So again, it's how do you structure it? I mean, is your annual average for Cushenberry going to be 15? Okay, if that's what you're starting at, then let's make sure his year one cap hit is only going to be 12. You can manipulate some of the numbers as far as the way the bonuses go. So, most of these guys, their cap hits are bigger the further out. It's not ideal. We saw Ryan Pace do it a lot, but Ryan Pace did it with void years. And I don't think Ryan Poles so far through 2 seasons, he has not played the void year game at all, which I think is smart. You don't have to do that at this point with the Bears are. So there's money. There's money there to get an edge. You could possibly get Huff. Bryce Huff, you talked about PJ, and he's not going to come in nowhere near Daniel Hunter, but
Right.
Huff is a speed guy off the edge. We still have DeMarcus Walker. He had a nice year last year for the Bears, kind of as a rotation piece, and then when Ngakoue got hurt, he kind of stepped in. His pressures picked up. He's a quality football player. So you add a guy like Huff, you add Cushenberry, you bring back Jalen Johnson. And you're still looking at 20-some odd million to get your odds and ends, because you're still going to have to look for a safety, because right now there is no starting safety on the roster.
Right.
So you got to find some guys, but some of these spots you can kind of find on the cheap. You can get a guy like we kind of saw, the Bears do for years when they paired a guy on the cheap with Eddie Jackson. He was fine. He's not ideal, but you keep taking swings late round of the draft, and eventually one of these guys will hit for you.
And I just wanted to piggyback on what you guys were talking about there. If we don't end up getting a center in this draft, or signing him, we could always play Tyson Bagent there.
He is getting bigger, right? He's
getting ripped. He might be getting ready to play center for us.
Hold on, Dan. Did you just say you want to play Tyson Bagent as center? Yeah. You're not coming back, then. I'm fine.
He has been fired.
Yeah. Taking over the show now.
Is Tyson Bagent tall enough or big enough to be a Taysom Hill?
I think though
Finally,
that
I can sleep.
I think you guys got to really take in consideration. Hey, what's up, Swifty? But you got to take in consideration Doug Kramer.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
The reason why I say that,
PJ, I'm a big Doug Kramer fan. Don't get me wrong, but he's done next to nothing.
The Bears cut him.
continue
The Bears
to do
cut him
that.
last year.
well, the
He went
point
to
I'm
the
making
Cardinals,
though,
and the Cardinals cut him.
well,
No,
the point
did
I'm
the Cardinals pick him up off our practice squad and then cut him?
yes, but the point I'm making
Yes.
is the fact that he's been here for 2 years, and we keep bringing him back. So when I seen Doug Van Dorn in the comments make a comment about drafting, I think the guy out of Arkansas. While I think that's valid, I don't think we're going to draft another project at center, because we already have our project in Doug Kramer. So I don't see us drafting a developmental center. It's going to be, if we get Cushenberry, we're not going JPJ. And if we go with an Evan Brown, I could see us going possibly with JPJ then, or even Frazier or Van Pran in the second.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is I don't see us investing a lot being Cushenberry and JPJ, all these assets, when you also already got Kramer, who they trying to develop in the background as it is.
Doug Van Dorn saying it here perfectly. I hear you, PJ, but the days of Kramer being our project may be ending. Kramer is, he was getting barreled over in college, and we saw it happen in the games he did play preseason and whatever games he might have played in the actual season. No. So I just don't see him as he's not part of this equation, in my opinion. So we basically have no center at all. Right? Is what you guys are saying?
I think Dieter Eisland's available once the league year ends.
You're better off sticking with Kramer.
Dieter was in Houston. Houston Texans, I think, just re-signed him.
Did they?
I believe so.
It don't surprise
Get
me.
out of here.
Yeah.
It don't surprise
Dieter
me.
is gone?
Yeah.
No, he said
I don't believe you.
Texans just re-signed him, Dan.
I believe so.
Check on that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm saying
You're right.
I'm saying we are going to get
Damn it, Lester.
2 new centers, but I just don't see us investing heavy.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, I think a free agency center has to happen, and then I think they're going to go for a guy. round 4-ish, somewhere around in that realm, which you
Yeah.
can find quality starters in the interior line that plays. So, because you need guard depth too, because you're starting 2 guards last year. They missed a combined 17 games. That's a whole season that they missed together. So you're going to play guys. I mean, look how often last year the Bears had to play Cody Whitehair, up front because either Nate Davis was hurt. We also saw Jatiri Carter, who I know the Bears like, but he's still a backup at this point in his career. I'm not sure they're counting on him stepping into a starting role. So they're going to have another guy. They'll add him to the mix on day 3. Hopefully it's a guy that can kind of do some center and guard. You want to get a swing guy, and there's a few guys in college that are available. That is one position I was doing a little bit of look at because I figured they're going to draft for sure interior swing guy late. So that's somewhere that I started looking at some guys, and once the combine hits, I'll start diving into a few more of those guys because that has to happen.
The good thing is too, PJ, we got to remember that both the Broncos and the Cowboys are in the red right now, even after the salary cap increase. So more than likely their free agent centers are probably going to be on the market. So we'll have some options.
Yeah, but that Cushenberry, that's going to be a lot of money. That's just a lot of money. And I'm a fan of Van Pran. I like Van Pran.
So am I. But you can still get Cushenberry and go out and get him too.
But the thing is, I don't know if he could play guard because he was starting center for Georgia for 3 years.
Don't need to play him at guard. Let him sit behind Cushenberry. Give Cushenberry a 2-year deal, 2 to 3 years roughly. And then after that time period, you can literally move on from Cushenberry if you want to, and then have Van Pran slot right in.
Chris N was plucked a question right out of my brain, asking, "Can
it's a dangerous place?"
Exactly. Yeah. Get out of there. Get out of there, Chris. Can Carter snap? He asks. Can Jatiri Carter snap?
He's never snapped. He played tackle in college.
He played left tackle at Southern, at Georgia Southern. At the Senior Bowl, they did work him out at center a little bit at the Senior Bowl because of his body type. They thought his future would be in the interior. As far as I know, of course, the media guys, they cannot report on what they see in practice. It's just not allowed. The Bears don't allow it. He had never taken snaps in camp where the fans are there. And as far as I know, he has never taken snaps in practice, but I know there was some talk internally. I know Greg Gabriel talked about this last offseason, that there was some internal talk possibly trying him there, but I don't think it's ever happened.
What do you guys think about this? I just thought about this, listen to this whole scenario, needing a backup center and possibly who can also play guard. If we go after Cushenberry, do you think it's quite possible that they go after like Barton in the second round, who actually played center, and then his last year at Duke he played left tackle, I think. So he has that versatility.
If they get a second round, right now they're still trying to recoup that. So if they can figure out a way to get that back, like I said, I think that's in play because Nate Davis was a pretty good deal last year, pretty big money. He's your starter this year. He's making like $12 million. They're not going to replace him. But after this year, all his guarantee money's gone. So if he does not bounce back in 2024, I think Nate Davis is gone. So I would not be opposed to drafting a guy fairly high. I mean, day 3 guy, or if they do trade back and find a second round pick, get a guy that can come in, let him groom for a year, let him be your swing guard for a year, and then make a decision whether Nate Davis stays or goes. And then, I'm a huge Tevin Jenkins fan, but let's be real, he's missed a lot of time during his career. So whoever you draft will get some run in both spots. Make a decision. Tevin Jenkins, he's up for a contract extension this offseason, so they'll have a decision to make there. So, like I said, you need depth on the interior, but I think it will start with a free agency pickup somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, we have Cliff talking about Connor Williams, and I thought of him at the very beginning as a guy that's slotted in at center, but now he said 2 ACL injuries. These are the Mr. Ones at the moment. Yeah, I'm done. I don't know about you guys, but he's gone. He's not even in my realm of possibility again.
Yeah. Plus, he's a 6'6" center. I'm scared of 6'6" centers, especially if we draft a quarterback that everyone's talking about. We might draft him being 6 foot, 6'1", and a center being 6'6". Ouch.
So, Lester, I wanted to ask, have you heard anything on the injury from Latua, the defensive end from UCLA?
Greg Gabriel actually tweeted out earlier today. I think he got it from Stacey Dales or something. He heard it on they had the combine stuff running all day. It was neck fusion surgery is what it looked like he had. And apparently it's fairly common that you can come back and be fine from it. So he said that he has no huge flags over that. I mean, they're still going to check him out, at the combine, obviously, and get all those medicals and x-rays and MRIs and take a good look. But from what I've heard today, that was a nice step in the right direction for him. And he's just, he's a fantastic player. Just, he's just, he's one of those guys just like watching him play because he's all over. He reminds a lot of people of Max Crosby, just, real lanky looking, just kind of all over the place. And he's another guy. I mean, this edge class is really, they stood up today. I mean, they did some nice stuff in the testing numbers. It looks fluid in the drills, so you never want to say a guy is raising their stock because these guys know who they are, but it's letting us fans now see, man, this guy's pretty damn athletic. So it looks good.
I'm of the proponent that we have gone draft heavy or defensive heavy in the draft the last couple of years. It's time to, if you're going to keep Justin, which I do believe they are, I think this is fully smoke and mirrors, that I know you're laughing. We'll see what happens. I'll bet you a lunch that they're keeping Justin.
Did we bet on the Harbaugh thing too, or did that never happen? I don't remember.
No, we never bet on that.
You were so sure of that one there.
I wasn't sure of it. I was just praying for it. But I would bet you lunch. What is that? $15?
Yeah.
You want to make a $15 bet?
Yeah, I'll bet you lunch. I mean, it's like I said. I'm like you. If they keep him, I'm fine, man. I'm going to cheer for my favorite team regardless. Just everything I'm hearing, everything that's out there, just seems like they're going to make a move. And like Ryan Poles knows right now. He knows whether he's his guy or not. And if he thinks that he's taking him to the Super Bowl, then he keeps him. If he doesn't, then I think he moves him. So where is Poles? We'll find out here in, like I said, about a week.
All right, so we got it's official. It's here. You and I have a $15 lunch bet. You use PayPal, right?
Yeah, PayPal works. Then Venmo.
All right, cool. Well, I don't have Venmo, but
whatever it is,
we'll figure it out. But it's on the record here. We have
on the record.
I say they're going to keep Fields. You think they're going to trade?
I think they're trading him. Yeah,
they're going to trade.
Let's be accurate here.
They're going to draft Caleb.
What Shorty's really is saying is he thinks they're going to keep Fields until Super.
Perfect timing. Out of here,
man. Super Bajan man. Shorty, man.
That's what he's really saying.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
No, I really just think that this is all smoke and mirrors. So I forgot what my original point to that was. Is that
I don't know.
That Tyson Bagent can play center. Yeah,
there it is. There it is.
We kind of got off that.
Yeah. I forgot what I was saying, but I had a point there. It was I lost it because
you'll find it.
Yeah, no, Lester, because the reason I asked the question, because I did see the tweet you're talking about from Greg Gabriel. I just didn't know if there's any more information out there.
Yeah, I worked all day. I was trying to follow along with the combine on Twitter. It was kind of hard to do it all. And then I'll catch up tonight on some of the stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's, edge class, man. They shut out today. It's fun. The combine is always cool to watch just because you get to see these guys do their stuff. And I know we have a couple of our guys down there checking it out. So I'll talk to them, see what they're hearing too. And then it should be cool.
James Hunter reminded me of what I was talking about, offense. So I think they're going to draft offense this year. They're going to go offense heavy. They need to go Marvin Harrison Jr. and then with pick 9, screw the defensive end. Go sign them in free agency. Get another one in the 3rd or 4th round. Go with the Georgia tight end.
Darnell Washington
2.0.
Well, but
all over Darnell Washington last year.
Can I break that down for you real quick? Logically, I don't see the Bears spending a number 9 pick overall on a second tight end.
Why?
I don't see it.
You got stud at 2 of those interior offensive line wide receiver positions, if you want to call it that, right?
But you got to look at it like this, though.
It's not a slight against Komet, though. It's you're adding to it.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't see them having a second tight end that you're spending because he's not going to play every snap. So he's not going to play 50% of the snaps. So you're going to spend a number 9 pick on that? I don't see it.
I mean, there's a basis to the argument, PJ, because Waldron does like to run that 3 tight end setup. But
right.
to your point too, you're spending a number 9 pick on a tight end who maybe might hit 50% snap. Maybe. You don't really know. And even then, will he be the go-to versus Komet? No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not taking anything from him. I think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. But he measures at what, 6'1", 6'1.5", something like that. And I don't see it. I mean, your point of, we got to go heavy from where we're going to be at that position. And given the fact that Poles has said he's he's good with Braxton Jones, where are we going to spend that first round pick on?
Dallas Turner, of course.
Right.
I mean, as far as the offense, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's saying go heavy offense. Where are you going to spend it on?
Wide receiver,
tight end.
If you can't bring in Cushenberry, you trade back and you pick up JPJ. Then you're going to pick up your second round pick that you keep talking about that we don't have. But see, he's got to get something in that second round, is my opinion. We've got to have a pick there. We can't
end
have
up with 2 second round picks this year with that trade. That Lester is laughing at because he doesn't think they're going to do.
But if we draft Caleb, you're not going to have 2 second round draft picks.
But in my heart of hearts, I'm speaking.
Tell me how you're going to get 2 second round draft picks if you draft Caleb. Is it possible, Lester, to do it with the 9, trading the 9?
I mean, if they trade back from 9, the way I see the draft playing out, I think they're going their top quarterback at 1. And I think at 9, they're going to go with either Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze. They're going to get one of the top receivers left because those 3 are studs. I mean, those 3 are like highly rated. But overall, this entire receiver class is really damn good. There's some guys you can get later. So if one of those 2 receivers are not there at 9, then I believe Poles will trade back of 9, especially if, JJ McCarthy's still sitting there at 9. I mean, there's a lot of buzz, a lot of smoke about he's going to go higher than people think. We've been hearing it. Harbaugh said that's the best quarterback in the entire draft. Of course, he's hyping his guy, but his game translates to the pro game, what he did at Michigan. So you get a team like Denver that's desperate to come up and get a quarterback because they're getting off Russell Wilson this year. They're not going to stick with that.
What about the Jets grabbing JJ behind Aaron for a year?
Yeah, that's possible.
I
mean, there's teams that would want to move up for a quarterback, and you got to see how many fall early. I mean, it's the best for the Bears and more quarterbacks stay, but if more quarterbacks stay, now the receivers are going to probably be gone.
Right.
But I mean, again, there's ways this can go where Ryan Poles can really make out as a bandit. But I think if you have a chance to come out of this draft, and like I said, I know Shorty's going under the assumption they're going to keep Fields. I'm assuming they're going to make a move. If you get your top quarterback on your board and you pair him up with Malik Neighbors or Odunze, now you have DJ Moore. You're going to sign a free agent receiver also. Maybe Curtis Samuel from Washington, because right now there's no other receiver on the roster. They're all free agents, so they're all bad. So you need to have a third guy you got to have in there. So now your offense is going to be looking a little better. And if you do trade Fields, maybe you get a second back in to recoup there.
Right.
If not, with any luck, it's a couple 3s. My guess is maybe a 3. But if the market picks up, and we've already heard some smoke where there's like at least 3 or 4 teams looking, maybe that's how you can get your extra day 3 pick is from Fields.
I think we all can agree that we don't think the Bears will go a rookie quarterback as well as a rookie starting center.
Disagree.
You disagree with that?
Does not seem likely. Yeah,
I disagree. Listen, I have 2 things
to
say.
I just don't see Poles doing that because you've got all this youth on this team, and Nate Davis is your old man leader at that point, and you to have a rookie quarterback and a rookie center. Okay, yeah, you can attempt it, but Now we're setting the timeline back further because those guys got to have continuity going in. Before the season starts, they have to be online together. Or we're going to have the same crap we had last year where nobody can get the ball to the quarterback. Maybe not that type of scenario, but you've got to have some continuity or some veteran leadership at that position, man.
Yeah.
We really
Lester,
don't have on the line except for Nate. And how many games did he miss last year? You don't know what's going to happen with these guys. I keep complaining, Lester, that we need to pick up like two or three centers, two centers and 2 or 3 guards because our depth is terrible. If Tevin's out, that whole line changes. The entire line changes when he's out. Look at the numbers from snap. This is a timing number from snap to time of pressure. The Bears are the worst in the NFL last year, the worst team in the NFL in that stat. So they've got to do something with that offensive line. I don't care if you bring Caleb in and a rookie center. I just don't see how this line is going to be better than last year, unless JPJ is a god and he can pick up everything like that. And if you've got Caleb, he has to be on too, or we're going to be back a year or two.
Yeah.
I have 3 questions to piggyback off of that. Lester, I know that I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So I know you probably got to get going here in a few minutes. We talked about like an hour or so.
Yeah.
So, but I want to piggyback off a couple of things. One is, does it really matter where you draft said player if that player becomes, let's just say, a Hall of Famer? If that guy was supposed to go in the second round and he goes in the first round, because you drafted him too high and everyone thought you were, drafting that guy too high, but you were right because he was a Hall of Famer. I want to ask you one question on that. Where did you project Mahomes going in that draft at the time? Before I ask you the second question,
I had him as my quarterback 2 that year.
So you thought he was a first round?
I thought he was behind Watson. I wasn't a fan of Mitch. I thought Mitch was the third quarterback in that group, and but me at the time there were still a lot of questions about the air raid. Still a lot of questions about that. But Mahomes kind of came in, and then a few guys after that have kind of done it, and they kind of look back. Some other guys have done it before. They're like, well, maybe some of those concepts do translate. It's about traits, it's not about schemes. So, yeah, but Mahomes. We heard about it. Ryan Pace. He had Mahomes in the same tier or he called it his cloud. He had the same cloud as Mitch. He had them both rated equally. He just liked Mitch a little bit better. That's why he made the trade up to 2. This whole thing is different if he doesn't do that. If he just sits where he's at and lets the draft come to him like he should have, but Ryan Pace panicked and moved up and took the wrong guy.
I've heard this, and this is from Greg Gabriel, that somehow they convinced San Francisco Ryan Pace that doesn't know how, but they convinced him that if they don't trade for Mitch, that they were taking him, and I don't know if this is even true. It's an hearsay from Greg
if
Gabriel.
it is true.
Well, but it wouldn't surprise me, man. That's why I kept saying today. I was on an East Coast show when they were doing the NFC North. I put it on Twitter, and I said today, I was like, if the Bears trade 1 to 2, do you think Ryan Poles could convince the Cardinals that he's taking MHJ at 2 and make a trade with them? Because I would just love to be able to get some type of trade with the Cardinals, even though, again, like I said earlier, I don't see that at all happening with the position that Arizona's in. But it would be probably one of the best scenarios for the Bears if they were to pass on MHJ and then pick up the capital and get the guys we're talking about at 7, 8, 9, or 10, whatever it may be. So options, man. He's got a lot of options, and
I forgot what my point was now because we went off in a different subject, but
Those tangents that get you, man.
Yeah,
thank God.
Thank you. But my point was, I know I wanted to say that I didn't see Mahomes even going in the first round of that draft, much less going at 10 or 11 where he went. So I forgot where I was going with that, but that was the main point: is that whoever we were talking about at the moment, you can. I guess where I was going was, would it matter if whoever you drafted, if it was too high? would it matter if the guy panned out? If he was supposed to be a second-round pick and you drafted him in the first round and he was one of the best players in the league or an all-pro, there really isn't a Pro Bowl anymore. So, and really all-pro is what matters over Pro Bowl anyways, even when we did have a Pro Bowl. You know, it counts for something if you just draft the right guy.
Well, it's all on how their board lays. I mean, we'll take the Lions, for example. Last year, they took an inside linebacker and a running back early in the draft, and everyone's like, what are they doing? That's the stupidest thing. But the way they run their team, the way they had their board stacked, those are their guys. And look what happened. Both guys were studs for them. They fit in perfectly.
I don't know if it's linebacker.
He had a nice year. He was fine. I mean, he filled a need for them. I mean, he wasn't, an all-pro, a Pro Bowl guy, but that's what they needed. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that they're looking to do there, and it works. So if the Bears are in a situation and, as fans will say, oh, he reached for that guy. Well, no one knows that. That's how draft analysts have their board stacked. That's how the media has their board stacked. That's not how the Bears had their board stacked.
Oh yeah. You see that all the time where the people have different guys on their board and they say, "Well, how do you take this guy number in the first round or whatever?" Yeah, that happens. I mean,
how many times has Mel Kiper been correct? By the way, I mean,
his play vastly improved the last 7 games of the season. If you go back and look at the Lions.
Yeah.
There's talk in Detroit, so I mean, when I hear it when there's talk in Detroit about a certain player.
Yeah,
Lester, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you're a busy man. I do. You want to hang out for a couple more hours with us?
Right? Yeah, 2 hours. Let's do it.
That's what Glenn said last week. Was falling asleep.
No, it's fun, man. I appreciate coming on. It's always good to talk to you guys. It's a fun show you guys do here, and it's cool. We'll do it again.
We would love to have you back on. I know we're going to be. It looks like we're still doing the PSF thing, right? So
I believe so. They haven't fired us, so.
Hey, before you go, Lester, let people know where they can find you at.
Yeah, I'm WindyCityGridiron.com. All the stuff I write goes there. Our video channel is Second City Gridiron. Podcast stuff is also Windy City Gridiron, and then I'm on Twitter at Wiltfong JR.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know, I mean, you guys got so many shows over there. Bare Bones, Beers and Bears. What's your podcast again, Walt? I don't know if you guys are running right now, but
Lester, you mean not Walt?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, Lester.
For me, it's my solo show is T-Formation Conversation. I didn't do a lot this year. I had some conflicts. I just had Jacob on a couple weeks ago. We talked a little bit about the draft stuff. Then I do Bear and Balance with Jeff Burkus. Yeah. We actually have a Bear and Balance scheduled to come up here the night of free agency on Monday. We're doing a Bear and Balance, kind of recap what happens. And then this coming up Monday, we're actually having a mock offseason. Bill Zimmerman having Bears banters, and I have Brad Spielberger from Pro Football Focus, who's an NFL salary cap guru. We're also going to have EJ Snyder, who is our senior draft analyst, also does a great job with bootleg football. And we're also having Aaron Lemming on the show, who's, you guys all know he does football Bear stuff for us and also for Bear Report. So it's going to be a 4-man booth mock the entire Bears offseason this Monday.
Lester, would you be interested? We're going to be doing a like last year, we had so much fun doing a draft marathon. We were just on for 8 hours and just had people hop in and out for 5 or 10 minutes to talk about this or that. Would you be interested in that?
Yeah, for sure. Book me a segment. If it's during the draft, my draft day is hectic. I always take off work because I have to fake job. Because
it would just be you. Like, we'll send you a link. You can just hop in and be like, that was a great pick. Talk with for 5 or 10 minutes, hop out. You can hop back in 2 hours because we'll still be going if you want to do something like that. Yeah,
for sure. I'll definitely jump on for a little bit that day. Send me a link.
And you talk about fish and spaghetti.
Writing. Talk about what?
Fish and
spaghetti.
You can
talk about fish and spaghetti. That's what we did last year.
Okay, that worked.
Last year in the 6th round, we had no pick. TJ's like, so what are you guys having for dinner tonight? I was like, leftover pizza. He's like, I'm thinking about having some fish and spaghetti. I was like, excuse me? You ever had fish and spaghetti, Lester?
I think I might have,
Damn.
Spaghetti is not always just the main course. Sometimes it's
fried
a side
catfish and spaghetti?
Yeah.
I'm pulling myself.
I got a feeling it was in catfish. I think it might have been perch.
Hey,
But it was yeah. I've had fried fish with the spaghetti on the
perch.
side. You know, it's
You're up in
like
the,
if you
you're-
go to like an Italian restaurant, you can get that. I mean, they bring you your pasta along with your fish dish.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
PJ.
PJ is very cultured, man. He knows how to do this right.
You are the man. You keep proving me wrong every day.
What about
Somebody-
fish and jello?
Somebody's got to do something right on this
I don't
show,
know,
Lester.
Jello.
At least we got one guy.
Tyson Bagent would probably do it with the fish and jello, maybe.
Oh. Oh.
You're out of here, Lester.
The pictures alone were bad enough, man. Pictures alone were bad enough for that.
It was bad. It was bad, Lester. It was bad, man. It was bad.
I'll pass on the Polish places.
My man from Round Lake High School, my alumni. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, man.
All
Yeah,
right,
my
anytime,
friend.
fellas. Appreciate it. Thanks. Have a
We
good
will
one,
talk
guys.
again soon, and thanks
Our
for joining
pleasure, man. Thank you, Lester. Have a good night,
Anytime.
man. Stay safe. See you Monday.
All right.
us. Love Lester.
I
Great
catch a bunch of those shows because some of the stuff that you can get on there, you're not going to get anywhere else, especially Bare Bones. They got so many shows, I forget the names of them, man. And I did see the interview of, I did see him on there with Jacob with Bonte. That was actually a really good show for anybody. It's still a valid. I mean, it's still valid to watch it today. That was 2 weeks ago, but that was a good show. And Bare Bones is, I can't remember the doctor's name, man, but they literally get into like medical issues and stuff like that, and what's going on. Like if it's during the season when they do the show, he'll break that because he's a doctor. He's a sports doctor. The guy who is the host of the show. So it's a different aspect because they get into on that particular show, they get into injuries and what it takes to rehab and what's involved and what the processes are and what the actual damage is. It just depends on what you're interested in, man. But if you want to look at it from an injured player's perspective, that's the show to look at because it's the only one you're going to see. I don't see any other one. Hey, Vernon. Good to see you, Vernon. Good that
What
you're
is
here.
up, Vernon? Thanks for joining us, my friend. No, Swifty, we're just saying goodnight to Lester. We're going to hang out for a little bit longer. I'm going to go take a leak while you guys make fun of me for even
Swifty, why don't
content
you jump on? Because I wanted to ask you about some of the combine stuff. I meant to send you a thing today or call you, and I didn't.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Swifty.
Somebody else talk to you.
Swifty.
I didn't think you wanted to talk to me. I'll be right back.
We'll get rid of you and send Swifty a link.
Oh, Swifty, yeah. Screw me. Even though
Right.
Swifty hasn't sent us a link to his new show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're not going to get on there.
Swifty doing a podcast show trying to overtake us and can't even.
Dun, 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 dun.
I get it, Swifty.
Just for the crap coming, coming out of his mouth. Overtake him. Go take your shit, dude. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. So you guys want a little bit of comedy from the combine today. Has anyone seen that Tyler Owens video that's circulating?
No, I haven't seen it.
I did not.
Oh, you should look it up. I don't know if you've seen it, Swift. You're still here. But Tyler Owens is out of Texas Tech, and he's talking to the media about how he doesn't believe in space. He doesn't believe there are other planets, and flat Earth theories have valid points.
Wow.
If you want a good laugh, look it up.
I'll have to look at that one, man.
Now, I didn't get a
have
chance. I didn't get a chance to see a lot of the combine today. I only got a chance to see like actually the linebackers field drills. So can you tell us what Walt or Foster, if you guys saw the edges or the defensive linemen and who really stood? I know I heard that certain ones stood out, but can you give us a breakdown?
You want a good one?
I can't tell you anything because I've been wrapped up with that damn house fire every day still. So Walt, you're gonna have to give us the info. I'm gonna look at the stuff after the show tonight.
Oh man, you got to start with Braden Fisk out of Florida State University.
Yeah,
you guys nuts. They did a sim cam of the 40-yard dash with him, Patrick Mahomes, and I think it was maybe Byron Murphy or Sweat or one of the other defensive tackles. And he can run. He's about 295. It's a little small.
Yeah, I seen a like interview he had with the lady there talking about going to the Raiders or something like that.
I didn't see that interview. I just went by some of the combine stuff.
Oh man, okay. Yeah, because he was just saying they were talking about how fast he ran, that he can like team up with because Max Crosby sent him a tweet or something saying, "Man, that was great" or something like that. And so he commented on it. That's why I saw that. So I didn't
Yeah.
actually see what he did, but I seen that little bit of an interview, like a minute long or something.
Yeah, his stock definitely went up after today. They interviewed good. It sounds like he definitely tested well.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he played pretty well in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, no, and plus he got traded in the Senior Bowl too. No, what's that him? Or am I confusing it with somebody else? I don't know.
I think it was him.
I'm not sure. Probably it just might have been.
Yeah. So he's like about 6'3" and 6'3.5", 6'4", something like that. So he got pretty good size. Weighing about 295, I think it is.
Yeah, so he ran a 4.78 today. Even his drills, running through the dummies, he was quick.
Cool.
Yeah, so it looks like he did 4.78 40, a 33.5 vertical, and a 9.99 broad jump.
That's pretty impressive. 9.9 for as big as he is.
Yeah. So the what I was talking about before, the SimCam, that was Fisk, Mahomes, and Trevante Sweat.
Yeah, Sweat. Yeah. Cool.
I see.
I see. Full Slate Farms saying Dallas Turner a 4.47.
Yes. Yes, they kept him at a 4.47. He ran a little bit off kilter a little bit near the end, so he lost maybe a portion of a step. So he definitely could have maybe even gotten to a 4.45, possibly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing there. I mean, it's close.
How tall is he? Because he looked big.
He came in listed as 6'4". He measured in 6'2" and change.
Okay, 6'2" and change. Okay.
Yeah,
but
so
he looked tall though. When I seen him, like I said, because he was running with the linebackers in the field drills, and I seen him out there. I was like, he looks long and tall. That's why I was surprised he was only 6'2".
Yeah, he's 6'2". His arm span's like 83 inches, something crazy.
Jeez. Okay.
So I mean, he's got like the wingspan of an NBA player.
Man.
So that's pretty nuts right there. He looked good. He looked pretty agile, and I'm not surprised he tested with the linebackers, considering playing in Alabama. They had him at that off linebacker edge position.
Okay.
So there was that. But I mean, Will Anderson did the same thing last year. Converted to a
Right.
defensive end and one defensive rookie of the year. So I don't really see that being an issue.
Cool.
They play around the same weight. I know Turner came in about 247 today, and in the interviews he says he likes to play around 255.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Yeah, because in that scheme that we run, we tend to like smaller defensive ends anyway. I believe. I know Levy did, so I would assume that Eberflus prefer the lighter ones as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know a lot of scouting reports have him penned as that traditional outside linebacker kind of edge on like a 3-4. But I mean, watching his stuff, or at least what I have access to, he can do good out of the 3-point stance, and maybe even a little better.
Yeah.
I don't see the point of wasting him in coverage. I mean, he can do it. I'm saying he can't, but I mean, he's got a pretty, like, I wouldn't say a mean streak. I mean, it is, but it's not like a real physical one. He's going to play hard. His motor's really high.
Okay.
So he's gonna just keep going. You have to physically knock him out of the play to remove him.
Tell me about my guy Chop. How he do today?
Well, Chop was good. He was the fastest test up until Dallas Turner.
Wow. Okay.
So
I see he got some humongous thighs. Oh my goodness. They dude look like tree stumps as far as big as his thighs was. Oh my goodness gracious. And he's about 6'2.5", I think.
I've been muted the whole time I've been talking. Swifty, get your ass on the show. I just sent you a link.
He said he had to pop out for a little while.
Yeah, he was doing a premiere, he said. But he'd be back after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so PFF has the stats here, at least just the broad 10-yard split and the 40. So he did about 4.49, which was great. I think they changed to 4.48 afterwards. 10-yard split was 1.45 and a 10.8 broad jump.
Sweet, Swifty, hop on when you're done.
Man, that's impressive. What about how did my guy Jared Verse do?
Verse did really good too. Let me see if I can find his numbers real quick.
He's now that's my guy. I'm hoping we can get him in like a trade down to like number 12 or something, and we can still be able to get him. That's my hope.
Man, is that all we're gonna hear about for the next 24 months? Is Jared Verse?
No, just for the next 2 months.
Okay, I hope it's not any longer than that.
Well, if we don't
draft him,
if we don't draft him, he's gonna go in my category.
You're gonna be trying to come up with some trade scenario for him if we don't draft him.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so I have his RAS score here. Verse came out at 9.39 altogether, but let's see. So his vertical was 35. He did good there. He had a 10.7 broad jump, 4.640. His 20-yard split was 2.88 and 10-yard was 1.67.
We don't have their bench. We don't have what they did on the bench, right?
No, I don't know if he did it. It's blank here. So unfortunately.
Man. And is he a legit 6'4"?
Yes.
Cool.
I can't give you the fraction, but I'm pretty sure he came and measured in at 6'4".
Good.
What did Caleb Williams say that he's not doing in the draft this year? Is it everything?
He's just interviewing, and that's it.
Yeah. He's
not doing you get his measurables, like his height.
Measurables, but he's not doing like a 3-cone drill or a long jump or anything like that. Nothing.
None of the drills. Yeah.
No, not at all. I don't think any of the major quarterbacks are. You'll probably see McCarthy, Penix, and am I forgetting somebody? Some of the guys outside of the top three.
Simon S., are you not a fan of Jared Verse? I see you want Shorty to make a deal with me about bringing up Verse, and he.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. Yeah.
No.
Every time you talk about Chase Young or Jared Verse, I get to bring up Tyson Bagent as
our center.
As our center, yeah.
Well, did you guys see the comparison? I forgot who had it. It was Verse and Will Anderson Jr. from last year. They're like everything is exactly the same: height, weight, arm length. I mean, almost identical.
You're talking
the 40 time everything. It's almost identical, man. And we were talking about Jared Verse. At least I was. I think we mentioned him, but like last year, because I was hoping he was coming out last year, and we had a shot at him. So he's one of my guys, and I'm back on the Chop Robinson bandwagon. If we trade back, get a haul, and gets a couple later second round picks,
he ain't going in the second.
First round picks. There's going to be some guys that still at the end of this first round. I mean,
I don't see Chop making it to the second now. I don't.
No.
At first I did, but not now.
No. Viscous stuff. You guys were talking about his stuff either. I just looked at his RAS card, his stuff today because I was doing a couple things on the phone. I even called Dan real quick to make sure he got that link to Swifty. But that was amazing.
Look at Eric Hall. Eric Hall, the defensive end out of UConn. He ended up getting an RAS score of like a 9.97.
Yeah. Who was that? What's the guy's name?
I think it's Eric Hall. Let me
okay. The guy who dominated at the Senior Bowl and the interior lineman?
No, he's a
defensive. Yeah, defensive end.
Yeah, defensive tackle, right? I thought the guy was from Houston or something, named Derek Hall or something like that.
There was a guy last year.
No, I'm talking about in the senior role just now. I mean, just passed. There was a Hall who was I think an interior defensive lineman, and he was doing pretty well at first, and he kind of like leveled out.
Sorry, I'm not sure. Eric Watts, that's the guy I'm thinking of.
Watts,
I knew the last name was wrong. It's like, why can't I find this guy? So there's that.
I had it all up, and I don't know what I just did with it. I got rid of it. because I think they got a list of what everybody did today in the combine. Defensive ends, defensive linemen.
Well, there was a funny measurable out there for Latu. He had somebody must have doubled up on the arm length and put it under his hand size too. So he had like 32.5-inch hands.
Everyone that just hopped over from Swifties Network, thank you for joining us. We were talking earlier about Tyson Bagent playing center for us. What do you guys think of that?
Man, you try to lose our doggone guess already. Doggone Shorty, come on, man.
I can't joke around. Come on.
Nope.
They have Tyson Bagent and center in the same thing, and they just turn around and walk out the door.
Swifty, I sent you a link if you want to hop on with us, man. You'll have a little more insight.
Defensive guys at the combine today, dude. I saw part of his video too. I had that on for a minute, but
yeah, I'm actually planning on watching the combine. Hopefully, it's on tonight after we get off of here. I get a chance to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I do want to check out a couple people because I haven't watched the verse. I've only seen a couple clips of that. So there's a few guys I want to see if what's out there.
They say a kid named Wilson from North Carolina State, I believe, linebacker. They said he did really well today.
I know that name.
Linebacker, middle linebacker, I believe, North Carolina State. I think he ran like a 4.4 something, 4.43, I think it was, and he's like 6'3". So when I seen just those numbers, because I haven't really seen him play, but when I seen those numbers in his position, I was thinking Urlacher in my head because he was super fast when he was playing middle linebacker.
Safety. Hey, PJ, man, don't come in here with like saying, "Oh yeah, I got half-ass stats." That's my job, dude. You got to have more information than that.
Well, like I said, I didn't get a chance to really watch it today. That's what
But I don't want to hear it till next week. Damn it!
But they kept talking about it. A guy named Wilson, North Carolina State, and not bad. I'll tell you, not bad.
See. Swifty said he's way skinnier than Urlacher, and he interviewed him at the combine.
Oh, okay.
I might even caught. I don't know if he aired that. I've seen so much stuff crammed in short periods of time that I have during the day.
Good for you, Swifty.
I lose everything because I'm not paying attention.
Come on the show, Swifty. You got to fill in some blanks for us here, then, buddy. You interviewed the guy. I'm just curious.
Swifty's saying
questions too.
Swifty's saying his internet has been crap all day. That's just his way of.
His internet on the fritz, Dan. Swifty's on the fritz, not his internet. The guy's up fucking like 20 hours a day making videos and doing shows live and all this crap.
Peyton Wilson, that's his name, Peyton Wilson. Thanks, Charles Johnson. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, Peyton Wilson.
Yeah, PJ, if you want a good guy to watch some highlights on, at least his tape is kind of hard to find. It could be a sleeper late in the draft, maybe undrafted free agent. Tremont Morris Brash out of the University of Central Florida, defensive end.
Tremont Morris Brass?
Yeah, so it's hyphenated.
Okay.
All right. He was second in the NCAA last year with tackles for loss of 20.5. The only person ahead of him was Latua out of UCLA.
Wow. Okay.
I understand his competition wasn't to the same level, but still, he ended up with 8.5 sacks on the year. He could definitely slot into a more of a project defensive end, like say Dominique Robinson, and you could just get rid of him if you want to go that way.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you guys this. I don't know if you guys watch this guy or not. Jordan Jefferson. I was watching some of his tape. He's a defensive tackle from LSU. I don't know if he's at the combine or not, but he got some nasty to him, man. He got some nasty to him.
Dude, all those LSU defensive tackles are pretty nasty. I know the Bears met with Mason Smith the other day.
He's the 166, right?
Yeah, he's 6'5", like 308.
Yeah, because I'll tell. If you guys remember the Senior Bowl, Jordan Jefferson was the one who snatched the guy's helmet off.
No,
the guy from UConn, I think it was. He snatched his helmet off in the one-on-ones.
Yeah,
I was like, that guy got some nasty to him.
Oh, we got a Swifty sighting in the house, guys. Let's go to here.
Swifty in the
Yo.
Wrong one. Hold on, where's
Testing
that?
569.
Yo, I like the little one where I'm on top of your guy's head.
There you
No,
go.
that ain't gonna work, bro.
Leave it.
Wait, this is the one. There we go.
What? No, I like the little one.
No, man, you're
Raise
gonna
up.
be on top of my head, bro. No.
Come on.
Let me on top of PJ's head real quick.
No. Can't do it, bro. Can't do it, man.
There you go.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Swifty.
I like this. Hey, quit punching me, PJ. Turn on my cam and fight you, bro.
And he's
I'll
punching
bite
the
your- I'll
PCB
bite your
logo.
elbow,
He's not
dude.
even- oh, there you go. Now he's getting Swifty.
This is messed up. Messed up.
Swifty,
What's
hey,
up,
Swifty's pulling a clutch cargo. PJ, I don't see his lips moving when he talks or anything.
Mike of mime.
So how was that interview, Swifty?
Wow.
He was popular, man. I remember a bunch of guys talking to him. I don't remember the specific questions I asked him, just kind of what I asked everybody, kind of a what did you come down here to prove to the scouts, something along those lines. And he was talking about his athleticism and his speed. I remember that. And he looked skinny to me, though. I mean, he had his like you know how a lot of guys will have their like shirts tucked up and their midsection exposed, bro. He was like bones. I was like, bro, this dude needs to eat something. He was the only guy I remember thinking that of. I went up to him and I was just like, bro, this guy needs to eat.
Hey, good interviews on
Did he
the
give you
Senior
a bear
Bowl,
down,
Swifty.
Swifty?
I don't think I got one from him. There was too many people around, so I just dipped.
Yeah, gotcha.
But you did some good interviews on the Senior Bowl, Swifty. I wanted to let you know that, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. It was a great time.
Absolutely, man.
Dude, you look like you had fun. That's your avatar now.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was great down there. So,
All
time of a
don't
life.
Fucking rub it in, damn it.
So who stood out to you, Swifty, at the combine today?
Jared Verse, man. Him, Chop Robinson, and Dallas Turner were my guys.
Yes. Thanks,
Braylon
Walt.
Fisk?
Thanks, Swifty. That's
I think
all.
Braden Fisk was on there too. I just put a video out on it, but I mean Jared Verse, they put up a graphic on the screen. They compared him size, athleticism, arm length, all that to Jared Verse. And
Will
almost
Anderson Jr.
not to Jared Verse, to Will Anderson Jr. Yeah, almost identical. Yeah, it was like, dang, that's crazy.
Yes.
I mean, don't you think they should be going offensive heavy in this draft? Where do you see
For the most part, but we need a defensive end, and defensive ends you have to draft high. Whereas other positions like center and guard, you can get in the middle round. Wide receiver, we can get another wide receiver anywhere in this draft.
Yeah.
As long I still want Marv, but I mean another one after that. You can wait till the 5th round and still get a Malik Washington or a Javon Baker possibly.
What do you think of Brendan Rice?
I love Brendan Rice, man. No idea where he's going to go. To me, he's like a 2nd round pick.
Okay.
Mocks have him going in the 3rd or 4th. He's 6'3", over 200 pounds,
And
good
a good
size.
And
Yeah.
a good blocker.
Son of Jerry Rice. I mean, work ethic was there. He looked good at the Senior Bowl. He's a fluid mover. I like Brendan Rice a lot.
Yes.
Did-
Yes.
Now you saw all the combine stuff today, right, Swifty? Or did you
Yeah.
see
Oh,
the
yeah.
first
I'm
one?
actually
Okay.
watching the 2nd time now. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious how my guy Braylon Trice looked, man.
He was my disappointment of the day.
Oh,
Not,
Ooh.
I mean, I liked Braylon Trice's tape. He's a guy I liked
Yeah.
more than most, to be honest. He dropped weight for the combine. Hold on, let me pull up my chart real quick so I
oh
can
shit.
see it. I charted everybody's height and weight and times and everything today. All right, so let me see. Braylon Trice came in 6'3.5". He was down to 245 pounds, so way light. And then he only ran a 4.72. Like if you're gonna drop weight, usually that's to run a faster time. If you drop weight and then don't run a great time, like that's
Not good.
so. I mean, it's still just a combine. I mean, it's not a huge thing. He's still a good pass rusher, but as far as combine performances move guys up or down the board for GMs a little bit, and he's a guy that's probably going to fall a little bit based on his performance today.
Yeah.
Well, he has. If he could make that up, maybe change some of that mindset at pro days though too. So
Wait, we got to do a shout out to Ken Schaefer up way past his bedtime if he's still
Kenny.
out there. Hey, Ken.
What's up, man? Thanks for joining us, man.
He probably took a nap today though, so it's all good.
What's up, Ken Schaefer?
Ken Schaefer, man, the guy's always got a great comment or something to make me laugh, and he's on every video I've ever seen or been on of yours, Swifty.
Oh yeah, him and Plank and Buck, they're always there.
Yeah,
man. All three of them in the house too right now, and Doug Van Dorn,
the Buckmeister.
Plankster's everywhere. I see him. I go to other videos, and I'll think nobody will be there because there's like.
Are you saying Plank gets around? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Plank is a savoir-faire, man.
I've seen it well.
I've seen Trapakeepa on your show before too, Swifty. So thanks for joining us, Trapakeepa. I loved my Trapakeeper when I was a kid.
Hey, you guys over here from the Swift Network, we appreciate you guys coming over. Thank you very much.
I got into a fight with somebody in the lunchroom in my freshman year, and I used my Trapakeeper against his head. So I love the name Trapakeeper.
I bet you did, Dan.
I bet you do.
You go pause.
Even Plank admits it. Plank's kind of a whore. No, I'm joking.
He said it himself, man. He said it himself.
I do get around.
I get around.
For those of you who can't see it.
Cool. Yeah. So who else disappointed you at the thing there, Swifty?
I mean, we didn't get to see Big Jerzon Newton. I mean, that's a guy everybody wanted to see. Another guy, one of Walt's favorites, Jonah Ellis. He didn't perform either. So, I mean, if they didn't perform, I mean, not a lot they can do. I mean, I wish Tavondre Sweat would have ran a faster 40, but he's 366 pounds, so I didn't expect him to. So,
hey, was Jordan Jefferson there?
I don't think I saw Jordan Jefferson.
Yeah, he's one of my guys that I'm looking at for like the 4th or 5th round. So,
gotcha.
I just was gonna say they're saying Sweat dropped like 26 pounds to get down to that weight coming into the combine.
I wonder what was he wearing at the Senior Bowl then?
He didn't weigh in there.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm wondering. Like if he dropped to get the 366, jeez.
You were there, Swifty, but guys, some other media guys were saying that they swear to God he was 375, 380 at the Senior Bowl.
Oh yeah, everybody said he wasn't well, that's what he played at was 365, and everybody at the Senior Bowl was like, "No way, he's way too big." But then he comes in and weighs in at 366, so I can't really argue with him unless you can prove he was 380.
Yeah. Doesn't matter now; it's in the books.
Yep,
man.
But that might be a thing that teams are going to worry about his whole career. You know, I mean, his playing weight.
Wilfork, what's his name? Wilfork for the Patriots.
Oh, Vince Wilfork.
Yeah.
I remember
what
him.
about Vince Wilfork?
He was a big dude too.
Yeah, Sweat being 2.0 of Vince Wilfork.
Oh yeah,
large.
Are you at the combine, Swifty?
No, Will Wright's there. I might go tomorrow. I'm only like an hour and a half away. I can get there.
But PJ, they're saying Wilfork played at like 325.
No, ain't no way in the world he played at 325.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's like what he weighed in at the combine. It might have been what they listed him at. But that's the thing. You don't get weighed like that in the NFL unless they want to weigh you and have you on a weight thing. So we don't really know what he played at. He was probably 350 though.
No, I'm thinking 370. He was huge.
There's a possibility.
Plank saying I was talking about Cliff was talking about a Beach Boys song, and I said anything to get Jane's Addiction. Jane Says out of my head, and now it's in Plank's head. I've had the song Jane Says by Jane's Addiction stuck in my head for like 5 days now. It's been driving me freaking crazy. You guys ever have that where you get a song stuck in your head, a brain worm?
Yeah, we're all singing round, 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 Plank gets around right now.
Right.
Okay, good. Anything, please help get Jane Says out of my head. Jane Says.
Round, 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 Plank gets around. Yeah,
there you go.
There we go. Get around, round. Plank gets around.
Plank gets around.
You done with PZP?
Yes.
Yeah.
You done with BCP? Yeah, you know me. Anything you want? Hey, can we dance to that?
No.
Anything?
Nothing stays on Ken said.
No.
I'm like,
I mean, so give us some more word on the combine, seeing as though I missed it.
Man, I don't.
He just wants to know everything.
Hey,
I don't even know.
I missed it too, man. I've been working my ass off. So
see, the boys had track practice today, so I was tied up.
I mean, I mentioned Chop. He ran a 4.48. Like, he was blazing. I mean, that's faster than most of the receivers on our team. So,
is he ever in a 3-point stance?
Yeah.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah,
It's those thighs of his. I mean, I ain't. Y'all know, I'm straight. I'm straighter than straight. But that guy got some huge thighs, man. Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I'm questioning you now, PJ, talking like that. I wasn't looking at their thighs.
PJ like loving the BBT over here, huh?
Yeah,
I'm
TJ,
just
you
saying,
got to
man.
give the thigh breakdowns. That's something I was not paying much attention to.
Hey, that's where your power comes from, man. I mean, because I got 2 grandsons who play defensive line, and they do a lot of squatting, and that's where that power comes from, man. Working those thighs, man, and doing those squats. That signifies to me that this guy can go as far as pass rush and containing the run, man. So because sometimes when you get a defensive lineman whose legs are thin, they can't hold up against the run as much sometimes because they can get easily pushed off their block. But if you got a sturdy base, you're good to go.
It's like you're talking about Braxton Jones right now.
I knew someone was going to bring up Braxton.
Well, I was actually talking about the defensive side of the ball.
I know, but it's relevant, isn't it?
Well, I mean, to me, his legs are kind of small compared to his upper body.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you do need a sturdy base, man, in order to not get moved. Because one thing I noticed about JPJ, one of the hip blocks he gives when he's doing a double team, that's pretty impressive. You can get a guy off his spot real good by just giving him a little hip check, kind of. Block him just below the your shoulder pad, right underneath here, but not too low because you can't block a guy below the waist while he's engaged with another blocker. So you hit him like right underneath here. You can move him right on out the way because you're moving that hip.
If somebody needs to send Braxton Jones a subscription to a monthly deep dish pizza place, because he definitely needs to get bigger in the lower body. Do you think he is replaceable at left tackle, Swift?
Replaceable. I think he's a starting left tackle in the NFL.
Is he replaceable?
Replaceable is a very loose term there, Shorty.
I mean,
is there somebody better in the draft
improve
that they could get?
There's someone who could potentially be better, of course. Is there a guy? Everyone's like, oh, Joe Alt, if you grab him. I'm even a fan of Joe Alt, and everyone's like, oh, he'd come in and be day one. I don't even know if he fits Ryan Poles' system, if he'd want a 6'8" offensive tackle. So I don't know. I know Poles is really high on Braxton Jones. So
yes, and I don't see him drafting anybody in the first round to try to replace him.
Well, he stated
unless he
himself,
really loves someone in the first round. Yeah.
Right. You'd have to wow him like anything else, man. I always go back to that. How can Poles be wowed by what? That's always a question I have with whatever I'm looking at. And he stated in the press conference right after the season that yes, he might bring in someone to challenge at the tackle position.
Yep.
But that to me sounds like we're not going to go grab an offensive tackle in the first round.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Yeah, especially when we need so much help on the interior.
If he drafts Caleb Williams, which I'm forgetting for just piling up draft picks myself, but if he does that, we're going to miss out on MHJ. So what would you do at 9?
Trade down. You have to almost.
That's what I keep saying. Unless you trade Justin and recoup a second round pick for this year.
I still think we'd need to trade down.
I do
because
too.
I think the thing is, the wide receiver we'd want wouldn't be there.
Right.
Roma Dunze and Malik Neighbors will be gone, so it's like time to trade down.
You think neither one of them is going to make it to 9?
Nah, I don't think so.
You've got a list of 8 guys. They're going to be in the top 8, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah,
they'll be gone by 8, all 3 of them.
Yep.
Hey Swifty, what do you think of the?
That might leave you somebody like
Olu Fashanu maybe, or Brock Bowers.
Mark
Maybe.
Kazak is getting to the question I wanted to ask you. Swifty, do you think Poles is taking a quarterback with the first pick?
I think he's trading down. I'm still on that. I still believe the same thing. It makes too much sense. Washington really wants this pick. I've heard from multiple people that I can't say who they are or where I heard from that Washington really, really wants this pick. Now, they're
2 firsts, 2 seconds, and Jonathan Allen, you can have it.
Everyone else is also saying Poles isn't trading it unless he gets a historical haul. What's that tell me? Poles is trying to get as much as possible. He knows Washington wants this. But I also do believe there's a chance he is very comfortable with Caleb Williams. And if no one wants to meet his demands and he can squeeze a bunch of picks for Justin Fields, he could potentially go that route. I think it's 70-30 right now. I got 70% he stays with Justin Fields and trades down, and a 30% chance he says, you know what, Caleb is too good to pass up, and nobody's offering me enough to move down, so I'm just going to stay here and take him.
If he can show the first pick out of Pittsburgh, is that worth it?
A first rounder?
Out of Pittsburgh, the 20th pick. They're not going to get a quarterback as good as Justin at the 20th pick.
I think that's one of the best offers that we can get for him. A lot of people are like, there's no way we can get a first rounder for him. I think we could get a first rounder from the Steelers. I don't see the Falcons giving us number 8. I could see the Steelers. If the Steelers and Falcons had both off, if Poles was like, look, I'm trading Fields, and the offers on the table are Falcons and Steelers both offering a second and a fourth or something, and Poles was like, look, sorry, Pittsburgh, but the Falcons picked 15 picks before you in the second round, so we're not taking your offer. Your only chance is if you give us pick 20. And hey, if he could turn that into JPJ, that's one of the only scenarios that I'd be really, really happy with, where we got Caleb Williams and traded Fields.
So you're saying in your scenario right there, you're comfortable with having a rookie quarterback and a rookie center?
You could play JPJ at guard first year. You don't have to play him at center.
Let me propose this question to you. Do you think that we can make the playoffs with Justin Fields this year? Yes or no?
100%.
Okay. Do you think
we should have won 10 games this year, and we have 2 top 10 picks? Think about this real quick point here. We have 1 top 10 pick on our entire roster right now. Darnell Wright. He's the only one. Mm-hmm. We have 2 in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we were a 10-win team last year if we didn't blow a couple stupid games. We have better offensive coordinator, 2 top 10 picks, everyone coming back except Darnell Mooney and some bums and Eddie Jackson, who's replaceable. Why couldn't we make the playoffs?
This is a 3-part question. The second part to that is, do you think
PJ question?
Yeah, it's a PJ question.
Y'all can never again say that's my type of question if that's what Shorty's doing. It's now his type of question.
No, your questions are 27-part questions. This is a 3-part question. So the second part to that is, do you think that we can, or what are, even more so, okay, so you're saying we can make the playoffs with Justin. So what is, give me your percentage that we can win the Super Bowl this year with Justin.
I don't have a percentage
30%,
for that.
20%, 50%.
There's too much into winning a Super Bowl.
Okay. That's you're getting to my point. So do you think that we can make the playoffs with a rookie quarterback this year with this defense and the team that we might be able to?
I think it'd be a lot less likely.
I don't think that would be the case. I would say that, yes, we can make the playoffs with Justin. I think, yes, we can make the playoffs with Caleb. But the difference is, are we going to win a Super Bowl with either? And if the answer is no, then wouldn't it be more? I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate to this. Wouldn't that be maybe the route the Poles might want to go, is knowing that we can still make the playoffs with a rookie quarterback, and maybe next year we can win the Super Bowl with that said quarterback, whether it's Justin or the rookie?
Why could you win the Super Bowl with Caleb but not Justin?
I don't. Well, the rookie quarterbacks just don't win Super Bowls. We saw Brock Purdy go to the championship game last year, but he didn't. He got to the Super Bowl this year, but again, didn't win it.
You're also missing the biggest part about it. is the future assets and the 6 to 7 draft picks you're turning down in the future. And that's what it's worth. It's Caleb right now. Think about the pick this way, okay? What player in the NFL could we trade or could get the same amount that the number 1 pick could get for right now? Because if we trade this down past the first 4 picks, that's talking 3 first rounders and multiple seconds just to start the conversation. There's one player in the entire NFL that would go for that much, possibly, and that's Patrick Mahomes. That's what this pick is worth. So if he's not Patrick Mahomes, why would you not take the hugest trade you could get, the most valuable asset in the entire NFL, and you're going to take it on an absolute unknown that's never taken a snap under center? And what's his success rate in the NFL? You always talk about that, running AI simulations. If you run AI simulations a million times, there's going to be a much higher chance that Caleb Williams never wins a Super Bowl than that he ever does. And that's just a fact.
I agree. I'm just playing devil's advocate because
can you play devil's advocate the other way there, Shorty? Just once. I
know. I'm
just
listen, once. I talked at length about Justin.
I want you to play the devil advocate just
season, and he wasn't.
Can you just play it just once? I want to hear you say the devil advocates were part at one time for Justin Fields. Let me hear it.
So if Justin Fields throws for 50 touchdowns this year, what is his contract going to look like in 2 years? How about that, PJ? Is that good?
Thank you. That was a short question, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Go
ahead. What?
Probably $40 million a year, but what if the salary cap goes up $40 million next year? It just went up $30 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
There's projections it could go up $40 million next year with how big these TV deals are exploding. This year was by far the highest revenue the NFL's ever had, putting games on Peacock and Amazon Prime. They made even more money, and their deals are getting even bigger next year. And to answer, Cortez asked, what? And there's a chance Fields ain't never going to win a Super Bowl either. But that's the thing. It's not about Fields. If you get an extra 3 first-round picks, that gives us 6 picks in the first round the next 3 seasons, and 6 or 7 picks in the second round. You then have the capital to move up when there's a quarterback you fall in love with. Right now, we don't have that capital yet. We have 1 extra second round pick next year and 1 extra first this year, number 9 and number 1. If we take Caleb, the extra capital is gone. This is our chance to set up our team for the future and have the extra capital to, hey, if Justin Fields doesn't work out, guess what? We have 6 first-round picks in 3 years. So we could still trade 3 first-round picks to move up and go get a quarterback we want and still have our own first-round pick every year. That's the kind of draft capital we can get if Poles makes the right deal. And that's generational. That's something that can set your franchise up for 15 or 20 years.
Wealth. That was the title of a show we did a couple of weeks ago.
I understand that, Walt, please, because we can use that as a short. Thank you.
Now, to the other point, that's what I said.
Damn it, man. I've been talking about a
something like that
generational
makes me sick.
Picks for 5 fucking weeks. Damn it. That's it. It is. That's the whole thing.
Fucking Foster. No, you have not.
Bullshit. Go back and listen to our
kidding. I'm kidding.
All right.
Hey, Swifty. I know you probably. I'm trying to put you on the spot here, but I'm just curious.
Yep.
Have you looked at the tackle out of BYU, Kingsley? And if so, what do you think of him?
Yeah, I'm not really high on him. I got somewhere in day 2, probably a 3rd round grade on him right now. I've watched about 4 or 5 games of his tape in all 22.
Okay. I was wondering whether or not he would be a guy that Poles would bring in to compete with Braxton.
I'd have to see his arm length. I know he's big on arm length and athleticism. Those are the 2 things, and I don't know what his arms are right now off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you, man. I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
What just happened there? Did I do that?
How
did that screen change? There
Walt
we go.
left.
Oh, Walt left. All I have to say is Poles got this, right? Right, Foster? PGT, brother.
You're muted, Foster.
Poles got. Listen, if
Whatever.
Caleb Williams is that guy, we'll
so
all love him. And trust me, if Poles drafts him and he comes in here and throws 4,000 yards, every single fan will be happy. Every one of them will be happy. And it just comes down to if Poles, people keep making it Justin Fields versus Caleb Williams, and that's not what it is. And Poles said that himself in the presser. He's like, people keep making it Justin versus, and he stopped himself. He's like, it's not Justin versus anybody. And that it's true. It's not. It's Justin versus or Caleb versus the Hall of Draft picks. And it comes down to Ryan Poles would have to be sure that Caleb Williams is that guy in order to make that move and pass up all those picks. And if he's sure that he's that guy, then we'll all trust him. And that's pretty much the only route we have to go. But there's no way people keep just rendering that fact useless that we can get 3 to 4 first-round picks and potentially 7 to 8 top 50 draft picks, which is almost as many as we have on the entire roster right now. And we can get that in one trade. Let me
ask you this one. This is not a 3-part question like Shorty. It's going to be a
27-part question.
If let's suppose Poles trade down with Washington, get 2 firsts, 2 seconds. So now we're at number 2. How would you feel, or what would you rather him do? Pick up Marvin Harrison there, or if there's a trade on the table with, like, say, Atlanta, where they're offering him 3 number 1s and a number 2 to move up to that number 2 spot, which one would you do?
It's pretty much the same conversation with Caleb, where you're taking a player versus a ton of draft picks. The difference with Marvin is wide receivers aren't as unpredictable as quarterbacks. Their success rate isn't as questionable. And Marvin is perfect of a prospect as I've ever seen.
Right.
At the same point, if you think you have a chance of getting Rome Odunze at pick 8, and they're offering you 3 first-round picks in a second, I still don't think I can turn it down, especially if you get a bunch of picks from Washington. Just setting our team up for the future. I think that's what it's all about. It's not about winning this year. It's about giving Poles ultimate flexibility to where, and this is where it comes down to, if we did make that playoff run this year, right? Say we get to the playoffs with Justin Fields and we acquired all those extra draft picks.
Right.
When we go into the offseason with all those extra picks, Poles also has the flexibility. Look at things like what the Dolphins did, how they added Bradley Chubb and Tyreek Hill via trades of first-round picks. They got all those first-round picks from the 49ers when the 49ers traded up for Trey Lance. They didn't use those first-round picks to draft players. They would then trade those first-round picks for proven veteran players, Bradley Chubb and Tyreek Hill. That's another option Poles will have with those first-round picks. Having all that capital, it gives you flexibility. You can stay and take those guys, and if Fields doesn't work out, you'll probably need those picks to take quarterback. If Fields works out and he takes you to the playoffs this year, you can do whatever you want with those picks. You can trade them for studs. You can trade them. If there's a guy who comes on the market like a T. Higgins or some stud that no one expects to get drafted or get traded in a couple years, because it happens all the time.
Right.
You know, everyone will be like, this guy will never get traded. And then all of a sudden, boom, A.J. Brown's traded a couple weeks later. It's like, oh, where'd that come from? A DK Metcalf or something? Yeah, something can happen like that. And having the flexibility to be able to acquire those players is probably the best position you can be in the NFL.
I appreciate that, Swifty, man. Thank you for breaking that down. I agree with you 100%. So thank you.
No problem.
Swifty, can I ask you a what-if question?
Yep.
No.
I'm going to pull these guys just so I can ask the damn question myself.
Question.
Oh, wrong guy. I pulled the wrong guy. All right, Swifty.
Wait, hold on.
Just you and I.
Chat question. Hold on. Why not take Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 1? Because quarterbacks are more valuable to other teams. And if you know the other teams are going to take a quarterback, why would you not trade down and still get Marvin Harrison Jr.? That just makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now these guys came back in. They're going to pull me for asking you this question. I'm not even going to be able to get to the freaking question.
Dude, are you doing Bajan again?
Just let him ask it and then pull him.
Am I not allowed to what if?
What if?
Come on.
Okay.
What if? Let's just bear with me. Bear with me for a second.
I gotta go find Walt. I'm driving over there. I'll be back in 20 minutes.
Let's just say that they bring in Shane Waldron and Waldron goes, you know what? That dude, that second string quarterback you guys have is he's pretty damn good in my eyes. If he could just get his arm strength up, he could be. That's it. I can't even look at these guys. They're ruining it for me. All right, so it's just you and I, Swifty. So Shane Waldron says, yeah, that second string quarterback you have, he looks pretty good to me. What if they just keep
Why does Shane Waldron sound like a creeper, bro?
So let's just say they keep Justin. They trade they trade down 18 times with the Caleb Williams pick, and they go and get the boatload of picks we're all talking about. But game 1, Justin Fields rolls his ankle.
I'm done. He didn't say that. I'm out.
He rolls his ankle in the second quarter. And
remove me, Wallace Foster.
And the second string quarterback comes in. Somebody please remove me. And I won't even say his name. The second string quarterback comes in, and he throws for 4 touchdowns in the second half. And then he starts the next 2 games because Justin is injured. He's rolled his ankle, right? And let's just say said second string quarterback throws for 4 or 5 touchdowns.
All right, I'm gonna give you your answer real quick, okay?
And they're 3-0 now. Have you seen the show The Dynasty about the Patriots? About how Tom Brady came in, with the whole now Walt's gonna pull me. Come on, dude, let me finish, guys. I'm talking to Swifty.
Pull him.
Yeah, you've done this 3 times now in this one show.
Hey guys, great show, man. I had to come out here and give some love to Foster.
I wanted his answer, you
Walt,
fuckers.
Some awesome guys on here. I appreciate you guys. Combine coverage is awesome. Much love to everybody in the chat. Buck, Plank, Cortez. Look at Levante, Cliff.
You can't even hang around to answer my question, huh?
I love you guys. I'm out.
He's running.
Oh, you all suck.
Later, Swifty. Well, you're gonna do that. Aldridge says, I'm going to sign Wilson. Wait, who's the quarterback in Denver that they're going to get rid of that they owe the money to?
Russell Wilson. So any team in the NFL right now could sign Russell Wilson. Well, once he's probably released, I doubt if they'll do it because it's $88 million. But technically, Wilson could be on any freaking team next year for the league minimum. So I'd rather do that than have Bajan be taken over first fucking pick. And the only reason I brought that up is because his contract is for $39 million, and the only one that can pay it no matter what happens is Denver. Unless he signs a contract with another team, which could be signed for the league minimum, technically. So there's teams out there that could jump on this. Because he could end up on a few teams for $7, $8, $10 million a season. And they'd have to pay that money directly to Denver because Denver's responsible for the entire contract no matter what. And he can't make more than $39 million next season. So I'd rather bring him here than have Bajan take over when Fields gets hurt. And if you don't like it, too fucking bad.
At this point, I believe, and I'm safe in saying this, that Bajan must be Shorty's love child. He has to be. Because as much as I like Chase Young, I never came up with the scenarios like he has about Bajan. Never.
You have too.
No, I haven't.
A million different ways
for
Chase Young.
So PJ, what are we up to now? Bajan throwing like 35 touchdowns in 2 games.
Right.
The number just keeps getting bigger and bigger as we go.
15 and 3.
Throw 5 touchdowns his first game, 5 touchdowns his second game.
Listen, if you can't just dream up things with me, then what's the point of being a Bears fan? You have to be able to dream up
You don't dream of nothing about no one else but Bajan.
No, it's scenarios about every position.
No, it ain't. It's always about Bajan.
Currently, it's quarterback. So I'm going to dream up scenarios.
It's been about Bajan since he's gotten here. What if Bajan comes in and win Rookie of the Year? What if Bajan, when Fields is hurt now,
I never said Rookie of the Year. Come on, I never said Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I don't think
Thanks,
you said
everybody.
Rookie of the Year.
Have a great
You
night.
said MVP.
Stay safe.
No, God, I did not. I said MVP for Justin.
You said MVP for Bajan once Bajan came into the starting lineup. What if he comes in and he becomes MVP?
I mean, to be real though, Dan, the argument's kind of insane considering he threw 3 touchdowns in 4 games last year. I mean,
he won
maybe
2 or 4 games.
Yeah, but they're against, like, come on, man. You lost the game to the Chargers because you suck and you threw like 4 picks.
Because
I'm over exaggerating, of course. I know he didn't throw 4 picks.
He didn't throw 4 picks, but he did have a couple of balls where you were like, the arm's just not there. But what if I'm just saying, what if the arm was there this year?
You said he had a couple of balls. Pause.
This is so interesting. I'm gonna leave the show and go pull out my silverware one by one that's caked in soot from a fire a month ago and clean it or throw it out. That's how interesting this fucking conversation is.
It always comes back to Bajan for him. I'm just trying to figure out.
And we're still talking about Bajan for the 3rd time. Sorry, PJ.
It comes back to just Bajan. What ifs. What ifs?
It comes back to Bajan.
But what if we don't talk about
everybody's doing well tonight? I don't know if there's anything anybody wants to talk about, but it ain't going to be freaking Bajan no more. Not tonight. No more. Shorty, I'm leaving if we go back to Bajan. I'm going home. Wait, maybe I am home. I don't even know what the fuck I want.
So next week when I don't want to do a show because I'm too tired from work, I can just say, I want to talk about Bajan tonight. You guys will be like, oh, fuck that. We're not doing a show. I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to get some rest tonight.
We'll do a show, and then I'll call you and wake you up when we're done so you can download it and shit. We don't fucking do that. We do, but only to a point. Jesus Christ.
How about this? How about this?
They got to be sick of this shit.
Wait, let me put this in a different scenario. What if Doug Kramer became our stud starting center for the next 15 years?
That would be fucking awesome.
No, it's just as ridiculous. Talking about Doug Kramer being on this team is absolutely ridiculous. The guy gets bowled over. He gets bull rushed like he's going against the fucking Buffalo. And we're talking about a guy who got taken off our practice squad and then signed to another team. Now he's back with us, and he's only shown the same shit as center. Yet we still want to talk about him as being a prospect for a center on our team. No, he's not a prospect.
We talked
yes, he is, or else he wouldn't be on the team.
We talked about making sure we sign a center and draft one.
Tyson Bajan's our second stringer, dude. He's not sitting there on the practice squad getting plucked and re-signed.
Hey,
I understand that.
He's a fine backup. He's a fine backup.
Okay, so what if?
But your scenarios are always about Bajan coming in and doing some extraordinary feats that's never been done before, but he's going to do it miraculously somehow, and he's going to throw 5 touchdowns in 1 quarter and be able to sit up there and throw 50 touchdowns.
Now I'm talking about Doug Kramer having 8 pancake blocks in 1 fucking game. How about that?
It's theoretically possible.
I'm bringing Glennon back.
No, it's not.
What do you think of that?
Doug Kramer is not going to have 1 pancake block in a game, much less 8.
Sure, we haven't seen actually Doug Kramer play more than a couple preseason games. We've seen Tyson Bajan play.
Listen to you guys.
Yeah, but here's the difference, Dan. I've seen Tyson Bajan play starting in the NFL. I gave him that shot. He's definitely a backup quarterback.
And what was the problem with that? His arm was just not right.
His arm wasn't wrong. His decision making is stupid.
No, it wasn't. His footwork and his
you don't throw 6 interceptions in 4 games.
His mechanics were damn near perfect for a rookie.
In 3 of those games, he had 1.5 to 1.8 second from snap to pressure on the line.
I'm just saying. What
if? There's too much to it, man.
Walt did say
this is just a terrible topic when we're talking about the combine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Let's talk about Doug Kramer. What if Doug Kramer was a
6 interceptions in 4 games? Walt said it.
That's
6 interceptions.
That's why we need to draft the center
in the 4 games.
Sorry, Beach. we need to draft a center, and we need to sign one. Period.
Yeah,
Because we
Foster,
don't
like
have
you
a
say,
center.
we need to definitely draft a center and definitely pick one up because we don't know what Kramer is right now. We haven't seen enough to make a decision on that.
I agree. I agree.
So, we've seen some preseason reps, and we all know preseason reps are not really telling the full story. Same thing with Tyson Bagent. We saw Tyson Bagent in the preseason. We didn't get the full story then either.
And I agree. And I think in a perfect world, if we get this haul that we really wanting from the trade of the number 1 pick, I would love us to bring in Jordan Travis from Florida State in like the 4th or 5th round as a quarterback to compete with secret Bagent man.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, it depends on how the leg is doing, of course.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, bring him in the 4th or 5th. I mean, if his leg's not ready, have him ready for next year.
Who?
Jordan Travis,
the quarterback from
Florida State University.
Yeah, Jordan Travis, I believe his name is.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 guys that I was looking at doing with that, something like that with your developmental quarterback that Shorty wants forever because we've never done it. But
right, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
you got to look at this too, man. It's so who are you putting on the practice squad that can get poached if there's any good signs too quick? I mean, there's a lot of aspects that go into it. You got to just I think cover all the bases on.
I think you have to. When it comes to quarterbacks, teams are keeping a quarterback on the practice squad now as a 3rd quarterback and bringing him up for the game.
Right, but that leaves him accessible to being poached if he's on the practice squad, correct?
But a lot of teams are doing that now, having the 3 quarterbacks.
Well, you have to, man. 17 games.
Yeah.
How many teams have used 3 quarterbacks last year? There's probably 10 of them that did.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
On the list.
So I would love
to. That's what I'm saying. Well, how many seasons has Justin Fields played an entire season without an injury so far?
None.
Okay, there you go. So what if
a real offensive line around him?
What if they made that trade and they got MHJ and they got Brock Bowers and they got the offensive line fixed and what if Justin got injured after 5 plays, and what if Bagent threw for 3, 4, 5 touchdowns in the next? I
would say, Shorty. Your son is great.
No. Answer the damn question. Do you think that they would say, no, we're gonna put Justin back in game 4, or we're gonna roll with Bagent? Do you think that?
They probably run with Bagent.
There's other scenarios like the Niners. They were forced to play their Mr. Irrelevant after 9 different quarterbacks, but the fucking Tom Brady, and I don't want to like compare him to Tom Brady, other than the fact that Tom Brady was a nobody. He looked like a dildo standing there at the combine with like no shoulders and just like weak looking, and Tom Brady is the GOAT. So what if Bill Belichick never said, "Oh no, we're now that Brady is, or now that what's his name?
How to ruin a show in 5 minutes.
What's his name? Was not injured. If he never got injured, or if he came when he came back, Drew Bledsoe. What if he said, "Oh, we're going to go with Drew Bledsoe"? Do you think that they would have become a dynasty with Drew Bledsoe?
Drew Bledsoe suffered a really bad concussion with, and also a head injury.
All relevant discussion. We could all sit here and say Caleb Williams, Justin Fields. Well, what if? What if? We're all fucking wrong, is my point. What if? That's all. It's not my opinion. I'm not saying we need to do this or that. I'm just asking you guys to like go there with me for a damn hot second and ask you what your actual opinion would be in a year from now if Tyson Bagent was that guy.
They go with Bagent. I said
would you be sitting here saying, would you be going, "Oh, I want Justin Fields back in the game," even though we threw for 37 touchdowns and 12 interceptions and we went to the fucking championship game? Would you still be pondering or
Can I answer that question for you? Sometimes I wonder if I should have started smoking crack a long time ago. Because
what did you just start smoking it recently only, or maybe you should start smoking it? I don't know. At least
this line of questioning right here, it got me wondering, should I have sniffed that glue I mean, I'm just.
What are you, Lloyd Bridges now?
I mean, listen,
I don't know. I mean,
everyone in chat.
I picked the wrong show to start huffing or to stop huffing glue.
Right. Airplane, right.
Dan,
I just want to answer your question real quick.
Anyone that knows me by now, though, knows that I'm not serious. I'm just saying, what if?
If this waste of time happens, I'll gladly go and get into my rocket car because I know I'm going to be in some sort of fantasy land and I'll go to the moon. But I do want to jump into Chris Jones's question here to get off.
I'm glad this is on video, just in case the what if happens. We can go back to this and have a receipt.
I still laugh at you. Anyway, Chris Jones is asking to prioritize 3 positions in the offseason. So his is wide receiver, center, and safety. Very good picks. I have to agree with wide receiver is definitely number 1. We got to get somebody in that can play the game next to DJ Moore. I don't care what quarterback you have. Center as a number 2, good. I'd have to say more defensive end. And I don't think you were here at the beginning of the show, Chris, but I was talking about not band-aiding the defensive end position anymore with a free agent signing. Let's go out and we'll get a Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, Chop Robinson, any combination of those 3. Then the center, I think, would fall behind that for me in terms of top 3, and safety is kind of an outlier. But what do you think, Foster?
I honestly, and I've been saying this since after the season too. He's not going to draft in this order, but my priority for the Bears, I think the glaring biggest need is interior offensive line and the depth that goes with it. That's my number 1 priority. I'm not saying they're going to pick that first just because of what happens in the draft and the way things fall. We all know that we can pick up these assets in later rounds. But that is if you ask me right off the bat, the biggest glaring need for the Bears, I know we got to get another wide receiver, at least 1, if not 2 more. The biggest need for me is interior offensive line. So I'm going to group. I want to see a center drafted. I want to see a center guard drafted. I want to see a wide receiver drafted. That's my number 2 need. Number 3, I'm going to go to the defensive end. And if that can even be compensated in free agency, I will move that back from my priority list and put safety up there because we do not have a starting safety in Jackson's old position. We don't have it on the roster. I don't believe so, or I don't see that we have it. So those are my 3, and that's interior offensive line, wide receiver, defensive end / safety on the last 2. What do you got, Peach?
Well, I prioritize it probably differently than what Chris Jones is doing because I look at it like we have 4 needs. We have wide receiver, center, safety, as well as defensive end. However, I'm not drafting a center in the first round. I'm not drafting a safety in the first round. So that leaves for me the 2 positions that I would draft in the first round, according to our needs, are wide receiver and defensive end. I would then try to get, by trading down, a safety and a center in the second round. It's not that I'm saying one is more important per se than the other, because I think they all 4 are pretty equally important because those are holes on our team right now. We need a center. We need all these positions. But because of draft capital and how the value of a pick is, you might not see a safety drafted in the first round at all. And if you see a center drafted, you may see 1 drafted in the first round.
For me, it's wide receiver in the order that because I honestly, all jokes aside, I really do believe they're keeping Fields. They're going to trade the pick. They're going to get a haul for that first pick and maybe even more. They might trade down twice from there and still get MHJ. Who knows? And there's so many damn options that they have. It's absolutely ridiculous, including the what ifs I brought up. So I honestly think that wide receiver, if they can get Justin, who they're going to keep in my mind, if they can get him MHJ and pair him with Moore and Kmet, look at what he did with his receivers in college. Enough said right there. We all know that Justin Fields has thrown some passes in his career for the Bears that we have never seen a quarterback for the Bears throw ever. And there's been more than 2 handfuls of them. There's been plenty of them from his rookie year to his last year. Plenty of wow throws. We have all must make sure that we do not forget that. So if you add more offensive weapons for him, bigger guys, we all saw what happened when Moore replaced Mooney last year. Mooney became his contract is nobody even cares anymore about Mooney's contract and what they're going to pay him, like we were talking about last year. I'll let you finish. I'll let you go when I'm done. But if you just add more talent, that's why if they did go MHJ after the trade down and they went Brock Bowers still in the first round, and then they, with all the picks that they got, they started to acquire offensive linemen in the second round, I'd be happy with that. But if I really don't, for me, defensive end at the 9th pick is just, if there's a defensive end there at the 9th pick, he's probably not. Usually defensive ends that are that good go much higher than the 9th pick. So that kind of is a gray area for me as far as that. I think that we could sign Danielle Hunter or even what's his name from the Panthers.
What if you get Dallas Turner or Verse at number 9, dude?
I to be honest, I can sit here and say I haven't looked at those guys because I just don't see that as a position of need for them at that pick. I think that they need to go offense heavy in the first round, and then in the second round, in the beginning of the later rounds, go offensive heavy in the offensive line department, and then from there you can start looking at defensive ends and safeties and shit. I know that safety is a big need, so maybe that could be somewhere before a defensive end. But I see them getting a defensive end in free agency, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, there's not a big enough guy. There isn't like a what's his name from the Browns that went first to Miles. There isn't a Myles Garrett in this draft. So go take all the extra money that you're going to get from the salary cap raise and go get your defensive end in free agency, and then maybe sign one in or draft one in a third or fourth round or whatever. Because Brian Robinson his days are done, right? He's going to be replaced with a new project.
Who's Brian Robinson?
Or Robinson,
Robinson,
yeah.
Dominique Robinson.
Dominique Robinson.
Oh, Dominique. Okay.
It's probably highly likely, but because I know Peach wanted to say something.
Yeah, let me say this real quick.
No.
When he was talking about Mooney's, we know he's gone. I'm in the camp. I want Mooney's back. I want him with a competent offense coordinator. That's what I want for Mooney. I want him with a competent
on the minimum.
Huh?
In a lower end salary, I'm not paying him $10 million.
I agree with that. Now, if I'm getting him for 5 or 6, yes, but it depends on what the money amount is. So I'm with you there, Foster. That's what I wanted to add.
I go lower that, and I laden it with incentive. That's the only deal I'm taking. 3.5 with incentives to 6. 1 year prove it deal, and that's if they're going to stay with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's what I would rather do that than try to bring in another wide receiver where I got to pay that new wide receiver $12 million.
Yeah, I absolutely. But at least we're all agreed. We've all agreed pretty much on what we need.
Oh yeah.
It's more so the draft order that they're going to be taken. Like my number one priority being on tier offensive line. We're not going to take that at 2 or 3 or 7 or 8. We're not going to take that at 9 unless, and I don't see it happening, one of those tackles is there that Poles is in love with, and he's like, all right, you know what? I know I said this, but I'm taking this guy. He's going to be our left tackle, and Braxton is now the swing tackle, and Borum's gone or whatever. But I don't see that happening, man. I don't see that happening because we've stated over and over again how Braxton Jones is definitely an NFL left tackle. He's serviceable. We're talking about a guy in his second season who hasn't even played 2 full seasons. And he's so young that he shouldn't do anything but get better as time goes on.
And I think that's...
You want to build continuity on the line. You want to have the same guys there year in, year out. That's what made those 80s and early 90s Bears. It was the same guys for 10 years, man. They had 6 linemen that were on that team for 10 seasons.
I think that's what we have to look at is what we think Poles will do. And given Poles' track record, I don't think he will draft a center in the first round. I don't. The positional value to me is not there in his eyes. Same way with a safety. As far as Bowers, I don't think Bowers will get drafted in the first round by polls if our team was already stacked. I don't see him drafting our second tight end at number 9. I don't see him using it. I just don't see that.
You can get a developmental guy too in the 3rd, 4th round. Even
you can get the guy from Ohio State in the 3rd round.
Yeah, that's gonna be mid 3rd round for him probably.
Yeah,
but
I can see
I was looking the other day. There's a few tight ends. There's a couple guys that I know you're going to get in the 4th that are developmental guys, and they'll be coming into their own when Komet's contract's up. So,
like a Sinet from Kansas State, right?
Yeah, he's one of them definitely. He's where did I look at him? I think 102 or 96. I don't even. That's 3rd round.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't see that. While the notion's there to go heavy offense in the first round, if we're keeping Fields, I see us getting a wide receiver in the first round. But
absolutely.
Given what polls said, once again, about Braxton Jones, that he sees him as his starting his starting tackle, I don't see him then drafting.
Wait, his starting quarterback?
I corrected myself.
Are they going to put Bajan at left tackle now?
No, okay. Bajan's tight end now because we're not going to draft one.
Oh, okay.
So I don't see him. Given the positional values, I just don't see him going with another unless he double dips at wide receiver. That'd be the only thing I can see him doing.
I think he should double dip at wide receiver.
I'm talking about in the first round. If we're talking according to Shorty's theory. Shorty's theory saying that he want to go heavy offense in the first round. That would be the only thing I see.
See, if you're going to do that, though, you could do this where you could take Neighbors or Dunze, and this is after trading back maybe to Atlanta, maybe even the Jets. Just depends on how Swifty says that neither one of those guys are going to be there at 9. I tend to think one or two, both of them are going to be there, or you're going to get to 9 and you're going to have Dallas Turner and Odunze sitting there at 9. And then you got to make a choice because it'd be great to have both of them.
That's very possible.
Logically, you could get the extra 6, 7 picks and pick up somebody like Odunze. I believe this, and that's going to 8 as far as to 8, and then you could take 9 and trade if you could get back probably 20 to 27 because JPJ has just kept moving up the boards. I saw a couple drafts today where they're talking now 18 to 22 for him. Yeah. But I still look at the board and I go along my board, which means nothing. But I've got him more like 25, 27 just because he's an offensive center and most people, like you said, the value of that position. Yeah. But I still think he's going to go in the first round. So if we had got 6, would you guys be okay with getting 6 or 7 picks and having 2 second-round picks and getting the likes of Neighbors or Odunze and JPJ in the first round?
Yes.
Because now you've just done more of what we've discussed, and that is improving the offense.
Offense heavy.
It needs to be. Just knowing what we did last year with the double dipping on the defensive line.
To answer your question, although I agree we need help with our offensive line. Like I told you, I'm a big fan of Van Pran. So instead of drafting a center in the first round, I'd rather get Van Pran in the 2nd or 3rd. So with that other first round pick, I'm going defensive end because I know that, hey, we got 2 good bookends. Our defense can be dominant, very dominant.
If you're stuck, Peach, at let's say you're stuck at 8, say we get to 8.
Okay.
And you're stuck.
In your scenario, how did we get to 8? Let me explain that to me.
I've done this too many times. So it's 1 to 2 with Washington where you're picking up next year's first, a second this year. I still don't.
Okay.
Everybody's saying like 2 seconds and a third this year. I don't see that much. I don't see Washington giving us that much.
Right.
So I'm going to say next year's first, a second the year after,
Okay.
and this year's second.
Okay.
Okay. So that takes us to 2. Then we trade with Atlanta.
Okay. That's how we got to 8. Okay.
Should be able to pick up a first next year, if not definitely a second, and a second or third the following year.
So
at
you're
least
saying
minimum. And this is by charts, by numbers.
so in your scenario, we're at 8 and 9.
Yes.
So you're asking me what would I do with
So
8 and 9?
At 8, we've got Dallas and Odunze left. Let's say Neighbors is gone. It could be all 3 of them at 8. I really think it could be, but let's just say it's those 2. So you've got to go defensive end or wide receiver. And if you miss out on that wide receiver, that's the last guy that is one of the guys. There's a big drop-off after that. Same at defensive end. There's a drop-off after Dallas.
But
Verse can be available. You might be able to get them both if you stay at 9, but I want to trade 9 back.
But I'll go with you with your scenario. What I would do at number 8, I will go with the wide receiver because the other 2 are gone.
Yep.
So at number 9, I'm trying to trade back to like 12 or 13, Denver or Vegas, as long as Verse is still there. What's his name? Dallas is still there, or that
Dallas would probably be gone because he's going to be that 9 pick probably.
No, that's what I'm saying. While I'm at 9, I'm at 9, if Dallas still there, Verse still there, and the guy out of UCLA is all 3 of them still there, I'm willing to trade back again to number 12.
Can I?
That might be really hard to get to because those guys want to get. I got you. Or they might want to jump up. You're right.
Okay.
Can I pontificate another question with you? Another what if?
You didn't even answer mine.
What was yours?
Never mind. Walter, you got an answer for that first?
I don't even know what your question is. We kind of just went off in a tangent somewhere.
Well, PJ and I got into it because he started asking me specifics. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Dan.
No, he was Foster asked, what would you guys do if Bears managed to trade down to where they now stuck at number 8 and number 9 with Odunze and Dallas still on the board? How would you move forward?
So you would, because you're going to trade 9. You're not keeping 9 because you're going to pick up more picks. So you're going to totally miss out on the top 3 wide receivers.
Well, I mean, in your scenario, we traded from 2 to 3, right, and then to 8.
1 to 2 to 8.
So 1 to 2.
And
so you
9 and 9 back, and I said all the way back to like 20 to 22. We'll say.
Oh, okay.
So even prior to the trading of 9, right? You went from 1 to 2, then 2 to 8. So now you have picks 8 and 9, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But
so
9 you're going to trade back because you're going to pick. So what the
here-
goal here really is to have 3 firsts and 3 seconds, or 2 firsts and 4 seconds next year.
Oh,
I mean, hear me out. So you have 8 and 9 right now. Don't trade back to 9. Get Roma Dunze and Dallas Turner. There you go. Problem solved. You're going to get some form of compensation.
That's the easy way, but I stated we're trading 9 back. I'm doing a sorty what if.
Can I add my what if?
I got you, Walt, but that's
okay. Okay, if you're going to trade back to 20 or whatever, take Dallas Turner, then take Keon Coleman later in the draft.
That's a good answer because you could get him at 16, 18.
Okay.
I actually did a draft scenario where I did that. Now that
you might be able to get him where I'm going to go.
Go ahead, Dan. Let's hear it, man.
What if? Let's pontificate this. Dak Prescott is in the final year of his deal with Dallas.
No, we're not doing this again.
What if Dallas wanted to go from 20-something up to number 1, and they wanted to give us their first round?
Hey, why are we having this conversation again? Every week, it's the same thing. Dallas is going to give us 800 first-round picks. Like, it's not happening.
You got to let him go, but that isn't just.
What if?
That's something that's not going to happen. At least what I'm asking you guys, that could realistically happen.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If Poles is getting wild with 2-3 trade offers, that could freaking happen, dude.
I absolutely
2 to 8. That wouldn't surprise me at all because those are the guys we need. Dunze and Dallas. It's all you, Peach.
I just said I agree with you, Foster. I mean, I 100% agree with you.
So something just came through the pipeline here a second ago. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I guess ESPN is reporting that Caleb Williams did not plan to do medical testing at the combine. And is only going to
What?
submit his medicals to teams he's met individually with during the pre-draft process. So he's skipping weigh-ins, it seems.
Yes.
Oh,
Wait,
wow.
who is?
Caleb
Caleb
Williams.
Williams.
Ah,
He's only going to submit, who
Wow.
is it? Minnesota, the Bears, Washington. I think there's like 5 teams that he's going to do this with.
So it's hard for us to pontificate on what trade value there is, because I'm thinking if he's really like 6 feet tall only, that will play a big part for polls if he's thinking about it. Now, if he turns out to be 6'1.5", okay, that changes it too. So for us not to know that, it's be hard for us to pontificate what the Bears would do with that pick for sure.
It's not even the numbers themselves. It's a simple fact that he's actually doing this. Like, why are you even here?
It's
Wait, you ain't doing a workout? You're not doing a medical? Why are you here?
This is the type of character, and I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna, because that's being just selfish and inconsiderate of the league. I'm gonna do it. You're gonna do shit my way. I don't care if this is the NFL and you got rules. You're doing shit my way.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
Those are people when I used to hire guys and they'd come in, yeah, well, this is how we do it, blah, 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 blah. Most of the time I wouldn't care, but there's certain specific things where it would be like, all right, let's see how this day goes, because in my mind, I've already let you go. And 9 times out of 10, the guy would be gone anyways, because it's not about teamwork. And even in my industry, you're doing construction on houses with 4 or 5 guys daily. To be me is just not something I want. So this is just, here, Washington wants him. So that trade is probably going to happen, man. I mean, the more shit you throw into it, like you're bringing this up now, Walt, and other stuff really that I read.
What did Cliff say?
It's 5 teams. There's a list of 5 teams, and I don't remember what they are. I know it's Minnesota, Washington, Chicago. I can't remember the other ones, but that's what he's doing.
Well, even in his ESPN interview, they asked him, what are you looking for in terms of your career and all that, and he talked about studying Michael Jordan and Walter Payton. He likes deep dish pizza, the very stereotypical Chicago answers.
Right. Yeah.
Then he goes on and saying, I don't care about the money in the fan, but I want to be immortal and make a legend of, become a legend. It's not what he said, it's what he didn't say. Like, when you ask somebody that question in football, since it is, it's more of a team sport than like basketball or hockey is. I would want to hear from my quarterbacks, I want to win with the team. I'm trying to build this culture of, strong characters, there for the whole group. And you can see Justin all the time saying, other quarterbacks too, that, it's the team first, personal stats be damned, right, and all that. Like, I'm here to win a Super Bowl for Chicago. I'm not here to make a legend of myself. I don't care about that.
That was actually something that turned me on more to Caleb with him saying that, though, Walt, because if you're potentially going to be drafted to the Chicago Bears, which the charter franchise, a city like Chicago that is known for its maniacal fan base, just like we're sitting here talking about all this same shit over and over and over and over again, he would be absolutely immortal if he became a superstar Hall of Fame quarterback for the Bears. If he became the Michael Jordan for the Bears, or the Patrick Kane for the Blackhawks, or the insert name here, the Sammy Sosa for the Cubs, or whatever you want to, whoever that player would be.
Yes, but so would any quarterback that did that, though. That's not mutually exclusive to him.
If he's looking at it specifically as he believes in his own ability to become that great for this fan base.
Ryan Sandberg for the Cubs.
Why wouldn't Ryan Sandberg's another one? Why wouldn't he be looking into that to try to see where he could fit in that legacy? Because if honestly, guys, if he became the next Patrick Mahomes, even if he wasn't the Patrick Mahomes, but if he was our Patrick Mahomes or our Aaron Rodgers, he would be fucking immortal for the rest of his life. But he would never pay for another meal. He would be bigger than Michael Jordan in Chicago. If he won one fucking Super Bowl as the quarterback for the Bears and had a 4,000-yard passing season and 30 touchdowns and surpassed Eric Kramer, and he had 30 touchdowns and blah blah blah, and he became all of his stats as a quarterback were the best of the Bears of all time, and he won a Super Bowl. Immortal. Build him a statue.
Okay.
He's thinking that way.
Here's the thing. That way. Here's the thing, man. You're playing football, man. This isn't basketball like Michael Jordan. This isn't hockey like Connor Bedard, where a single player can overtake an entire team.
It's not, but it's
no. Here's what I'm going. I don't give a shit about that. All right, because any quarterback that comes in Chicago, Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, it could be QB XYZ for all I care. If they win a Super Bowl,
Bagent?
Yes, even if Tyson Bagent did it.
You heard it. You heard it, PJ. He said it could be.
Yes, because that's how strongly I feel about this. Even a backup quarterback like Tyson Bagent, if he were to win the Super Bowl in this town, the way our fan base is and the way our media is set up, they would erect a shrine to him on Lakeshore Drive.
Yes, they would. They'd build a statue around the field.
My problem is you're coming into a team you haven't been drafted by yet, and you're saying it's not about my teammates, it's about me.
Nah, come on.
There's where my questions start.
That's overthinking it.
That's not overthinking it at all.
It is overthinking it. If you were in the position to be great, to be the first pick in the draft as a quarterback, and you got to go to a team that has never had a quarterback worthy of talking about in history other than Jim McMahon and fucking.
Can I answer that question, guys?
I don't like people. I don't like people that hide stuff, because that, to me, that's what it sounds like the guy's doing.
Let me.
Somebody mentioned it in the chat. They don't want to
answer that question,
people to know
please.
that he's 5'11" and he runs a 5'1" 40 and whatever it is. I don't know.
There's the comment.
There, Alan. Thank you, Alan Pena. Alan Pena says he didn't want the other 27 teams to have his medicals.
Okay.
Why else would you do that?
So
I agree. That's bullshit.
Let me address it this way. There's certain things you can feel, but there's certain things you shouldn't say. I can want to be the best quarterback ever, but going to a team, hey, I want to get to this team. I want us to win a Super Bowl. I want us to do this. Those are the things you need to be talking about instead of your own accolades. Let's talk about this team and how we can get this team better. So, yeah, you can want it because every player do desire that. Because I tell my grandsons to this day, hey, be the best version of yourself. Be the best version. That's what you need to do, is be your best version. But does that mean you got to go tell everybody else the same thing, that, hey, I'm here to be my best version? No, you're on a team, because it takes 11 players on that side of the ball to win a game. So you just can't be just thinking about you. It's about, hey, there's no I in team. It's no me either. So again, be a team player. And I'm trying not to talk about Caleb because I don't want to get in that debate of Caleb and Justin. Yeah. But the whole thing is, if you're a quarterback or any player, yes, you want to be better, but you ought to be thinking about the team.
Did you guys happen to catch any of Russell Wilson's interviews about this stuff going on in Denver?
No, I don't care. So
I'm just saying, but he answered the questions like, I came to Denver to win games and win a Super Bowl, not sit on the bench because they wanted me to retract my money if I get injured during the rest of the season. It was a we thing, not me, we. Yeah. And he brushed it off too. He also added one thing which was smart, although I'm not going to buy it. He stated that he goes, I wouldn't want to set an example around the league where all these teams are asking players to relieve their medical compensation during the season because they don't want to pay me if I get injured during the offseason. Well, first off, you can't do that in the NFL. That's illegal. So he's going to win that suit. And second off, just the way the guy handles himself, he says the right things. He's got the right actions. He should be a politician with the way he speaks after football, man. But at least he's the sincerity, or the apparent sincerity, is there when he's talking about team instead of I.
I agree with that.
Poles is not a guy. I just don't see him bringing anybody here who's an I guy. Even any red flags. Look at Carter last year. Now that situation, he did something else again where he got in trouble again. You guys heard that, right, Carter?
No, I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
he got in trouble again.
Well, yeah, no, he
month
got into a
ago.
Twitter beef with some guard from the 49ers
Yeah.
saying he was going to kill his family.
Yeah,
There was some other words exchanged too between the two.
right.
But that was
I
during
mean,
the season, right?
You don't.
That was
like
like
a
week
month ago.
13.
Yeah, when he was
Was it
crying
that
on the
long
sideline.
ago?
No. The comments they were talking about happened when the 49ers came to Philadelphia and played. I think it was week 13.
Mhm.
And supposedly Carter said he made a comment about the drag racing incident in Georgia, and then he came back and said,
Yeah,
"I'm going to kill
yeah.
you and your family."
Yeah.
But that was in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a whole fiasco.
Yeah.
My whole point is not to get into a Justin Caleb debate. It's to look at that. What has Ryan Poles and company preached the entire time they've been in Chicago? Continuity and culture. All right. And you said earlier, I don't remember it was in the show or when we were in backstage, PJ. You preach this stuff, and then you're just like, well, we went through the rebuild, we got through this, and now it's like, bye bye.
Yeah.
That's what message are you sending to your younger players?
Yes, I agree.
And it seems like like you said, Foster, we passed on Jalen Carter because of what character issues. It's not talent, that's
Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
So what are you saying when you bring a guy in that is very me focused instead of we? And that
Right.
plays across multiple businesses. And this is why I brought this. Like I said, I keep bringing up last week's conversation, where if we move from Justin Fields, let's say you make that decision, right? I'll be fine. Ryan Poles did what he did. But you also have to think about workplace personalities and how that changes across the board. I'm not saying these people are going to riot and the locker room is going to be like, we're not playing because of no Justin Fields. I'm not saying that. But people harbor animosity their entire lives. They may not show you face to face, but in the back of their mind, they're thinking, I don't like this guy for XYZ reasons. So, I'm not going to play 100%.
Right. Right.
I hear what you're saying, but a lot of that narrative has been false. It's come out to be false.
Yeah.
Which part?
He was in an interview recently saying that if the Bears drafted him, he would love to play for the Bears, and that's why he was looking up
That's not what I'm saying. You can love to play for the team, right? I'm saying your focus is like I can play for the Chicago Bears. I can love to play for them, right? The team itself. I'm playing for myself at the end of the day, though. I'm not playing for what my offensive linemen, my wide receivers care about. Like if I go throw 500 yards and we lose the game, I'm fine with that. That's what matters.
Do you guys ever wake up on a Tuesday and just think, what do I want for lunch today, or what do I want for dinner today?
Well, I think you wake up every day and ask that question, honestly.
Okay, so oh man, I already lost my point because I'm like laughing at this. It's so that being said, you're allowed to change your mind in your day if you wake up and think you want bacon and eggs, and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna have lunch, and you're like, I want a ham sandwich.
Right.
You're like, I'm gonna get a burrito today instead.
Okay.
Sandwich for lunch. I wake up these days, I'm going to Denny's for the $6 Grand Slam, dude.
Exactly.
It's cheaper than making it.
So my question to you is it possible? Are you just so? Is your opinion ever allowed to be swayed by any other pontification? And I'm not saying that I'm not 100% in any fucking direction, and I think that's obvious by now. I'm kind of
logic, yes.
No shit, right? So you guys there, the two in the opposite corners, Walt and PJ, you have just stuck to your damn guns, and you will not let it go. And I want to ask you.
Well, I'm going to answer.
Have you ever just changed your mind where you wanted bacon and eggs, but now it's a ham sandwich instead?
I'm just saying. I'm going to answer it for you. I base my opinions on logic. And it's cool. Yeah, sometimes I have some wild fantasies, whatever, but my opinions are generally based on logic. So what I'm saying is, when I look at our past recent quarterbacks, we had Jay Cutler, very talented guy, very talented. But what did people say? Bad attitude and poor leadership. Then we had Mitch Trubisky. I like Mitch Trubisky.
Wait, but quick pause on Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler threw 27 touchdowns and 26 interceptions in Ron Turner's final season in his second stint as Bears offensive coordinator. By the way, the best offensive coordinator we've ever had in our damn history. two teams, Eric Kramer and two wide receivers at 1,000 yards, Conway and Jeff Graham. Eric Kramer still holds all those records. His second stint took us to the Super Bowl. And then we trade for Jay Cutler, and they give him one damn season with Ron Turner. And because he threw 26 interceptions to 27 touchdowns, which, by the way, is still the second most touchdowns ever thrown by a quarterback.
Thank you for that stat there, Shorty. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Jim McMahon was the best offensive coordinator the Bears ever had.
Okay, so back to my point.
That example is my point.
So back to my point. I think even with Mr. Trubisky, I thought he was talented, but he was fragile in the sense of he needed the televisions turned off because he didn't want to hear the negative things. So the point I'm making is we have a quarterback now currently who
just unsubscribed to two different known entities because
I want to explain that. I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to bring that up too. So thank you. So you have a quarterback now who shows leadership, who players like and respect. So again, we have that there. Now, for us to get that in a quarterback that we've been missing in the other quarterbacks and that we might possibly go to in another quarterback, I'd rather keep that leadership thing going. Now, as far as unsubscribing to following the Bears, when you overseas, you have limited access to American television or American outlets. So if I'm getting my social media because I'm in another country, I'm not able to talk to people on a regular because I'm in another country, I'm looking at my Twitter, and I'm looking at it. So do I want to see this talk about B getting traded or them drafting somebody else? Do I want to see it? Because this is the only thing I'm getting my source of news from. So I am going to deactivate that account because I don't want to see that, because I'm going to be looking at my phone every day because I'm not watching television where I can't understand the language. So I'll be looking at my Twitter. So if I'm looking at my Twitter, I don't want to see stuff about me. So I totally get that. I'm not even mad at him about that because he even said, hey, I'm already going on vacation. That's why I deactivated it. Get it. Got it. What's the big deal?
Hey, Peach, if he's deactivated the Bears in the NFL, that means he's no longer on the Bears and he quit the NFL because he deactivated them too. So he's got nothing to do with either one of them. Right. How about Fields just like, let me take my 2 weeks to decompress. Honestly, I'm not telling you guys this, but Poles told me to do this when I went on vacation to help with the thing, everything that's going on.
That's very possible.
And I say that only because of 2 interviews where they had this look on their face, both of them. I forget the statements they were making, but they smiled and started laughing in the middle of it. I'm like, I literally, when I saw that, because I'm watching about 10 things throughout the day when I'm doing stuff, I stop and watch stuff for 5 minutes. And I'm going, these motherfuckers got this all set up. They literally are setting everybody else up. And the only people who know about it are Poles and Fields. He didn't even tell Warren or anybody else. This is their thing, and this is their way to keep Fields and suck the most out of drafting. And that's all just my mind speculation.
Agreed.
But is it or is it not possible that that's what happened?
Very.
I'm just going to shut up on that one.
You never know.
It's 100%. Yeah.
I mean, Dan, the whole point of what I was saying was not to say I'm for or against in either way. If they stay with Justin Fields, fine. I enjoy his play, and I feel he's a great leader. I'll get to that one in a second. And if they decide to go with Caleb Williams, fine, whatever. But know that we have to go through some growing pains. And this whole playoff or bust thing next year probably won't happen, unfortunately. You know? And Mr. Mayhem, I see your comment about David Kaplan. I'll get to that idiot in a second.
Oh, David Kaplan.
Where was I going? Oh, yes. Leadership. You brought this up, PJ, in your statement there. I can teach people to do certain things. I can teach you to fish, right? I can teach you to change your footwork. I can teach you how to make a different release. I can't teach you to be a leader. That's an intangible that you have to be born with. That's something you can't just pick up a book and be like, okay, I'm going to read about this today. You know, it doesn't work that way. Right? So that's what we're looking for from like everyone says, quarterback is the most important position in football. Yes, it is. Is it the only position in football? No, it's not. There's 11 other guys on your offensive side of the ball that have to work in tangent with one another to make the machine go. Same thing for defense.
Right.
And if your leader on either side is out of sync, or there's some sort of miscommunication, either there's an altercation in terms of clashing personalities, or they don't enjoy each other for some reason, that is going to emanate out to every other player on that side of the ball, offense or defense. Now I'm trying to keep this more gradual instead of trying to keep it onto Justin and Caleb.
Right.
So let's say my leader is Montez Sweat, right? And if he gets a real big head, I led 2 teams in sacks. I'm the greatest thing ever. All his running mates are going to be like, I don't really like working with this guy. I'm going to do it because I'm a professional. I don't have to. So I'm not going to give you my full effort. We see that everywhere in life, not just football. You see it in business. You see it out in the regular world.
Yes.
Just walking down the street. So
don't you think that they would view that differently as greatness and be like, wow, I'm actually working with a potential future Hall of Fame? Like, let's put that into a quarterback perspective. I always thought to myself, if I was the wide receiver catching balls for Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or fucking Patrick Mahomes or whoever you want to insert there, don't you think that you would know that? Like, you'd be like, wow, I'm part of greatness right now. You don't think that there would be any percentage of people that on that team that was thinking about that, like, per Montez Sweat as your example?
Personally, it does not matter to me in terms of greatness, as you're trying to say. I'm playing to win the game. I don't really give a shit how great you are. If we win the game, cool. That's my main focus. If your focus is being great and that's all you care about, then I don't want to deal with you.
I think there's in my profession, the question was once raised: do you want a leader or do you want a manager? I think in certain professions, being a quarterback being one of them, you want a leader. A leader is a person you will run through a wall for, a person you will follow into a foxhole and get ready to fight a battle for. A manager is a guy he gives you direction. You want to go along with the direction. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to give it your full effort. Leaders is what helps you win games. Because, man, when you don't think you got nothing left, you're going to give it this extra and all you got to make sure that you can accomplish the goal. That's what separates leaders and just managers. I think Justin has demonstrated that he's a leader, and that's the type of quarterback I want to follow. That's the one I want to lead my team because, hey, I can give that extra, even on the defensive side of the ball, because you see the players say, hey, I want this guy because I can do more with this guy because I believe in him. If you just have a manager, you're not going to have that. So I'm thinking there's a distinct difference between the two as far as being a leader or a manager. And if you got that leader in that quarterback position, you win Super Bowls. That's what you do. You win Super Bowls or you win games because, there's only one Super Bowl winner. So even if you don't reach that ultimate, I think you can win more with the leader than you can with a manager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you look back, of course, the annals of history throughout the Super Bowl era, how many quarterbacks have won multiple Super Bowls? Not many. I think the list is maybe 13 from 1966 to now.
Right.
So you have to then look at what's the ask of these guys. Like Patrick Mahomes is a great football player. I personally don't like him. I think he's a bit of a crybaby at times, honestly. But that's a whole nother point. But he can lead his team.
Yes.
He can do both.
Yes.
And did he do that overnight? No.
And what was Patrick Mahomes drafted at? What pick?
What does that matter?
I'm kind of getting to how many first pick in the draft quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl.
We're not even talking about that right now.
Okay, how many number 11 picks have?
I can't tell you. I don't have the information.
Patrick Mahomes is number 11.
Okay, one.
Justin Fields is number 11. So the point is
what does that have to do with what we're talking about?
That guaranteeing that there's no guarantee that drafting Caleb Williams is going to get you the Super Bowl.
True.
Well,
It's-
I think we've
Justin
established that.
Fields being a number 11 pick is just as likely as a Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Joe Montana, one of the greatest third round pick. One of the greatest things I heard about him on that game-winning drive against the Cowboys, when the pressure is on and all that, they're in the huddle. He said to Dwight Clark, if I were not mistaken, he said, "Did you see that guy up there in the stands? Took his mind totally off the play to where, hey, relax. Look at that guy in the stands." That's what leaders do. You know what I'm saying? It's like put you in the mindset to where you can succeed, get you to relax, live in the moment. Hey, man, just relax, man. Look at that guy over there. It's just a play with your Barry do. Then he proceeds to throw this beautiful pass to where only he could catch the ball. Those are the type of things, those are the intangibles that I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about leadership. It's like, man, that takes some balls. You're in this pressure point situation, and your quarterback, instead of getting all hyped up and all nervous, hey, look at that guy in the stands. You see that guy what that guy's wearing over there in the stands? Totally relaxes his team. And there you have it. Those are the things that I think leaders do.
Because Montana was always a leader, even in Notre Dame.
Absolutely.
So that quality followed him through football. Same thing with Justin. We saw Justin being a leader in Ohio State. It's following him into the NFL.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, I question, unfortunately. I'm not saying he's a bad player, doesn't have talent. Don't get me wrong on that. But I do question some of his leadership abilities. I know his teammates are always going to say he's a great person, a great leader. But the argument that was made against DJ Moore and Cole Kmet was they're just sticking up for their guys. So are we going to do the double standard and say it doesn't work this way? They're not standing up for Caleb Williams. I mean, you never know. But
But I will say this though. I think you can teach leadership. I believe that. I think you can be taught leadership, but sometimes though, like when you don't have that example in front of you, it's hard to then learn. Like if you don't already have it coming into the Chicago Bears, it's going to be hard for you to learn it in that quarterback position because there's no one in front of you to teach you that. Whereas in Green Bay, they had Favre, Roger sat behind him, learn. Then now Jordan Love sat behind him, learn. So they have that lineage of being able to do that. We haven't got that lineage yet. I think we can, with the way Justin's going, that we can get that lineage of having a quarterback. But if we're doing the same thing like our previous show said before, wash, rinse, repeat, to where we get rid of the quarterback, bring in a new one. While the head coach is in his already year, so next year the quarterback doesn't succeed, so the head coach gets fired. Then we got to draft another quarterback later on down the line. Yeah. Stop the madness. Stop it. Stop it right now, and let's go forward.
Because quickly, Doug Van Dorn is bringing up a comment here about giving your medicals only to a select few amount of teams. It's a little hazy. Like I'm not really sure what to think about that. Even if you're not getting drafted on it, who cares if you're not going to send the medicals out? And this harkens back to the trade deadline this year. There were reports that Ryan Poles balked at a Chase Young deal for that very reason. That the Commanders were hesitant to release his medicals or his team or whoever. And that's what drove him off, and he ended up on the 49ers. So if I'm Ryan Poles, I have to look at that. I did that for Chase Young. I said, well, I'm not getting his medicals here, or I want a physical or something along those lines. And same thing with Larry Ogunjobi. Medicals didn't work out. I mean, no, I'm getting off on a different tangent there. Forget that reference.
I said Beijing at center.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when we were talking about the other stuff, Dan, I thought you were just going to say Tyson Page is going to play every position by himself.
Not fullback. He's not a fullback,
man.
But to go back on to David Kaplan, he was talking about a month ago about this chasing. Why are you afraid to chase greatness? Greatness takes time, David. Greatness isn't just a 3-year window. There's no mythical 3-year window that you have to fit in. No player, Caleb Williams included.
Yeah.
So you have to. Yeah. Greatness is trusting a process and becoming great as a team in this sense, because we're playing a team sport. This is an individual sport.
Right.
Isn't like we're in the Olympics doing shot put and javelin and all those other garbage.
Very true.
Greatness takes everything from coaching down, and
Agreed.
it's kind of why when they chose to keep going this course with Flus and let's just get a new offensive coordinator and not go after Harbaugh, go after greatness. Let's not chase greatness when we have this opportunity at our feet. Let's sit here, and that's going to be the driving force this next season. Is Eberflus the guy? Is he the one that's going to make this team great, not just the defense? And if he's not the next fucking Andy Reid for the Bears, then it's not going to matter who our quarterback is, really, because we're not going to get it right. We're going to be a revolving door of offensive coordinators for the next foreseeable future.
Well, that's the key. That's the key right there. I think you said it right there. I think the key is if you're in a position now where you got if we stick with Fields and Eberflus are tied together. So come to the point that if we don't win with these two guys, you can get rid of both of them. I don't want to your point, what you said previous, Shorty, I don't want to have that off center of the quarterback not lining up with the head coach. Let these two, they're going to ride together or they're going to get cut together. But I'm not trying to see them, okay, Justin ain't working. Let's get rid of Justin, but we keeping a head coach. Bringing a new rookie quarterback, and then, it's still not working. Okay, now let's get rid of the head coach, but we got to keep the rookie quarterback. No. Let these two guys stay together. If they don't succeed next year or make significant progress next year, okay, let's now start looking at something else. But in the meantime, we built up a better team.
Chris Watts, how you doing, man? Good morning,
Chris freaking Watts. What's up, Chris?
Good morning, mate.
Chris got up to take his prostate is enlarged, so he got to take a piss.
Chris,
so PJ.
Messenger chat me, Chris, today, sometime later at like.
Let's not forget too. By the way,
Chicago time.
Chris Watts, the British Bears, they're going to be doing a show this coming Tuesday. Him and Jason Nunyabiz.
If we sign a HIPAA form there, you have to give it his medical.
You were going to say something. I'm going to forget this. What? Because I heard you talking, Peach, and I just I'm like, if they draft Caleb Williams, that means Flus is here for 3 years more.
Not necessarily.
So what? You're gonna dump Flus again next year after there's a problem with Caleb this year?
That's my point. I mean,
that's on par.
We gotta break the cycle. I don't even care if it screws us for a year or two.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, for me, if you kept Flus, you ought to keep Justin. And then, therefore, whenever you go about getting your new quarterback, bringing a new head coach too.
But if you draft Caleb and trade Fields this year, and the year blows, we go backwards, you got to still stay with Flus and Caleb. You're kind of screwed if that happens.
No, they haven't done it the 3 previous times.
Or they dump all of them next year again and do it again.
Well, I mean, to your point, Foster, the whole thing would be if the quarterback change is really the number one priority, and that was what they were stuck on from the very beginning of the offseason, we would have fired the entire coaching staff. There is absolutely no point in keeping Matt Eberflus around.
Point of all of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if we end up drafting Caleb Williams, keep Eberflus, and there's a regression in the team. Let's say we stay at 7-10, or we even go worse and go backwards 2 games. Let's just say 2 games. All right, so we'll call it 5-12. You don't make the playoffs. You end up with another top 10 pick, minimum. Well, because you're not trading the number 1 pick, so you won't have an extra first next year. So Flus is gone. He was already on the hot seat getting picked when he got kept.
And you're going to keep Caleb. You're going to keep Caleb though, and get another head coach to work with him.
Unfortunately, that's the Bears' MO.
That's what happens.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why this whole thing has to be broken, because PJ, it's been going on since 1969.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I wouldn't bring in a new quarterback right now. I was like,
42 starting quarterbacks for the Bears in 25 years.
That's what I'm saying. Flus,
27 years.
I would tell
42
Flus flat out
starting
if he doesn't know it already. I would tell him, hey, you and Justin are tied together. Period.
I don't know, man.
You guys tied together. Like it or not, you guys tied together.
I agree. And,
Yeah,
and then you get the wealth, and then you don't do shit in 2 years. And I don't even know if I could go past this one.
Right.
Unless I see definite progress and we make the playoffs. Then I'm going the next year with them.
Right.
But
that's where I'm at.
And it's getting the picks, and for lack of a better term, it's kicking some first round picks down the road to cover all the freaking bases.
Exactly.
You want to have that capital. Sorry, Walt. I keep
because even
you. And I'm not sorry I interrupted you. I did it on purpose. Damn it.
Because even if you end up, moving on from Eberflus, you then have the entire team has to relearn whatever this new coach brings in,
and whatever system.
Yeah, so it's not the same as what we're doing now. We're kind of bringing in the same people, and we kept some coaches to keep things in line with what we were doing.
Exactly.
So the train can kind of stay on the tracks. Once you switch it over and go down this other path, everyone, not just the quarterback, has to relearn the system. So we have a defensive system which is a 4-3 at the moment. Let's say we dump our defensive coordinator again because Eberflus gets fired, so the whole staff goes away.
Right.
Or we swap back to a 3-4. Now we have to bring in all other players to fit this.
Exactly.
So, and then you end up setting the team back even more.
So
you have the option of maybe having one bad year with Caleb Williams, and then you say you move on to another coach. More likely you're gonna have a bad second year because again the entire team is re-gearing into this new mindset.
Yep. And at that point, I see Poles going.
I can't even take this conversation, dude, because I've lived it for my life.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, when you look at all of the variables, that's what I'm saying. It's like the safe thing for me to do, move forward, get more assets. If it ain't working, and I'll even give him, depends on how next year turns out, I'll give him even another year after that. But if he's like talking about Eberflus, if he regresses and we keep Justin and he regresses, if it's not because of catastrophic things happening, I'm looking to replace both of them next year. Then, but that's what I'm saying. They're to me they're just tied together. Period. They're tied together now.
Mm-hmm. I swear to God, I just see Poles has a 5-year lamb, and he's got certain parameters to work with, and he's in better shape than he anticipated.
Yeah. Yeah,
because even if they go Williams and he falters, Ryan Poles is on the hot seat too, not just Eberflus.
Right. That's why I said Poles in my comment. Well,
yeah. No. That's why I'm saying. I'm reiterating that. Because Poles is now saying like, okay, I say his argument is I didn't have my guy. I don't believe in that philosophy personally.
I don't either. I don't buy it. 100%.
But let's just follow that logic train for a minute.
They're all his guys now, all of them until he gets rid of them.
Yeah, once he took over the team, he became your guy. Yeah. So that's that. There's me. So let's say we decide to go with the quarterback now. So you can no longer say I don't have my guy or I didn't draft this guy. You did draft this guy. And guess what? You still failed. It's now year 4 going into year 5.
Yeah.
Why are you still here? Why am I going to keep you around? You've talked a big game. Don't get me wrong. You've really talked a big game. Your words are very nice. Your actions are completely different. So now, you know what? I'm not going to let you drag me down anymore. You're all gone.
Yeah.
If that screws up, that is the fastest ticket to the unemployment line for that entire team.
That's the only variable that I throw into this draft where there is a chance where we make a move, and even that still could be the trade from 1 to 2 and taking Drake May or Daniels or whatever. MHJ, I don't know. I'm just not MHJ, but it would be for the quarterback move. The only way, because it does stretch Poles' term out. That would give management an incentive to say, okay, we got this new quarterback. Now we got to take a year. We got to take 2-year step back. It's going to be 3 years before this process. So that's the only thing that I could see where that would lead him to do that this year, where we get a quarterback in the top 2 or 3 picks. Mm-hmm. It's the only thing.
Yeah, because let's say Ryan Poles.
The rest of it's too logical, too common sense. Go, Walt.
Yeah, so let's go with the avenue now that Ryan Poles goes what we think they're going to do and trade that number 1 pick. Wherever it is, he picks up a number 1 pick for next year. So now you have 2 firsts, 2 seconds at minimum for next year, right? And then we'll go with you, PJ. Justin Falters, right? So we have to. He's done. He's given every chance. We went out and got MHJ and all these other players, and it still failed for whatever reason. Mine is something like I got hit in the ball, my leg exploded, or something crazy. Completely out of left field. Yeah. So now Ryan Poles can go to Kevin Warren and the McCaskies and everyone else on that board and say, "Hey guys, I tried, but this still failed. But I have a plan to bring in my own guy now. You've now extended your life in terms of your job security at minimum another year to 2 years, because now you're telling that your boss is like, hey, I didn't have what I needed before. I gave it the old college try. I did everything for this kid that I could.
Right. I agree.
But now I need to get this other kid. I need to bring in someone that can work better with what we have." So they go, "Okay, Ryan, we'll give you take your quarterback. We'll give you another 2 years because we know a rookie quarterback has problems, and he may not get to the Super Bowl his first year. And I know that's a little crazy, but so you got. I mean, especially with as volatile as the general manager position is nowadays, and even the head coach position, you got to find ways to keep yourself relevant."
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
absolutely.
it's like that old horror movie adage: you never want to give away your specialty to somebody else because you're going to die in the next 5 minutes.
Right. Let me answer Doug Van Dorn's question about the 4-3 and the 3-4. Fangio was the first one to ever bring in the 3-4 to Chicago.
That's what I was saying to him. Yes.
Yeah, and
they only kept the 3-4 because after what Fangio had established with the players on the team.
So with Pagano and the other ones, they still ran it. It wasn't until Eberflus came that we switched back to the 4-3. But that was the only stint that we started to ever run a 3-4 is once Fangio got here, and then up until Eberflus got here.
Yeah, they weren't like they never flip-flopped back and forth from one to the other defense. It was always a 4-3 defense until Fangio, and then they tried to keep it that way because of the players they had and not have to restart, with their draft.
Correct.
So
that's George Halas influence right there. Lasted that long, 100 years.
Hey,
why did the formation stick around that long, guys?
Hey, I'm a fan of the 4-3.
I'm a fan of the formation.
I like the 4-3. I prefer the 4-3 myself.
I like those ends. That pass rush position is real nice, and I just find it fascinating.
Yeah.
I think there's more you can do with a 3-4.
It comes down to personnel, but if I have the right personnel, I'd rather have the right personnel for the 4-3. It gives you options with that other man. That's all. And it's the key is that's why the 3 tech is such a key to this defense, man.
See, yeah, I'm
one of those.
I'm a 4-3 1 gap system. I love the penetration.
That's what she said, Paige.
Yeah, I know.
But you do love it.
But yeah, I love that 1 gap because I've seen 2 gaps, and I don't like holding up the defensive players trying to hold up an offensive lineman trying to wait, read and react. I would rather just, shoot your gap and go.
Guys, I am getting tired after a 3 hour and 13-minute show. You guys,
it was a great show, man. I heard that Tyson Bagent was going to get him next head coach.
Yeah, he's going to be our punter.
Hey, Dan, why don't you reach out and ask him on X if he wants to come on the show?
I have.
Be with his #1 fan.
I've tried. He won't.
He won't. Oh, that's too bad.
Just say, hey, I'm your daddy.
We need you guys to subscribe and tell your friends. We've got a couple of new guys in there. Sco Six Trade and Ebs. How do you say that?
Ebsuade.
Guys, tell your friends.
Pronounce it out for us, man.
We got 72 people in the chat.
72 people in the chat, and I want to go to bed. You guys want to keep this going? I'll just go to sleep.
Dude, I appreciate you guys in the chat, each and every one of you. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the hospitality. Thank you for the peacefulness in the chat. And thanks for being respectful to each other.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You guys
Sure is.
in chat are the reason why we do this. I've said this to you earlier in chat. Like, honestly, you are, and I'm not kidding. I'm going to look you straight in the eyes. You guys in chat are the reason why we do this. I sat down. I was talking to you last night, PJ. I said, why the hell do you want? I don't want to do the show this week. I'm too exhausted from work.
He did. He did say that too.
And what was your answer?
My answer was, I do it for the people in the chat because I know people in the chat look forward to seeing us. I mean, we have our regulars. They look forward to seeing us, and some of them, man, they're planning a day around it. So if we can say things to encourage you, make you laugh, make you feel wanted, having a good time, like we're a brotherhood, like we're in a locker room, just again give you a place where you can just, man, unwind a little bit. And that's why I do it. That's truly why I do it.
I wanted to ask you guys that the same question, Walt and PJ. Like, if I don't want to do this anymore because it's just so fucking exhausting, why do you guys want to keep doing this? Is it chat too?
No, I don't find it exhausting at all. I find it invigorating, actually.
Yeah.
You know,
well, maybe it's my new job that's just mentally draining for me. So
I'm fucking exhausted, and if you want to go, we'll end this show, and if you guys want, we'll start a PFW show.
What's that?
Or a WF show, a Page Foster Wall PFW.
I was just
start
like,
a second show. We got 70 people. If 25, 30 of these people here want us to go longer, I don't know if you want to, Walt. We'll end this show and just start another one. Then you can do what you got to do.
You don't even have to end it. I can just go to bed and you guys can keep going.
Well, I'm gonna switch to my line if you guys want to do this. I got to switch to my phone, but I don't. It's up to PJ and Walt, man.
Wait. You said you got to switch to a line. Hold on. What'd you say?
I got to switch. Well, I figured, Pete, since you're doing crack now, I'm gonna go back to the 80s and start doing line.
Okay. Let me break out the credit card to separate it here. What I was going to do was go on over there, bro,
and go on my phone and do a line off the phone so you can see my nose as I'm doing it.
I mean, honestly, it's up to you guys. We've been going 3 hours and 17 minutes now. I mean, so if we ended it here, it'd be fine. Yeah. If chat wants to keep going for a little while longer, I'm game for that too.
Yeah, guys. I mean, seriously.
TBG joining us at this hour. What is up, Notorious? Man, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, guys, we really do it for you guys. I mean,
this would be like a 24-hour show if we just couldn't shut up because of you guys. You guys are honestly, a million times over the reason why we do this. And
absolutely,
it's the reason why we look up and we're still going for over 3 hours because we see all of you guys in here with us. And without you, we wouldn't do this.
Very true.
Foster has to go do a line to stay up late? Question.
Cliff doesn't want to hear any more Bajent.
Wait, more Bajent.
Hold on, Cliff. What if? Just kidding.
Good night, everybody.
I'm actually going to Cliff's. I'm going to Cliff's.
Show's over, Bajent. We're done.
I'm going to Cliff's. I'm going to Cliff's house.
There's 67 people in the chat, man.
68 now. I'm going to Cliff's house this Sunday for dinner, and I'm actually disappointed it's not a meatloaf. He's making.
I'm sorry.
Sunday. Are you down in Florida? Or are you home in Georgia?
I'm in Florida.
Oh,
so I'm gonna drive an hour and 15 minutes to Cliff's house this Sunday and hang out with him for what are you making, a crab boil or something?
Hey, take a picture of his car for me.
Alonzo Dog 37.
I'll make sure I get a picture of his car just for you, PJ.
I appreciate it.
And
Cliff, you got a nice car there, bro.
I'm just wondering why you're not making me a meatloaf, Cliff.
You want to know what's insanely hilarious that you're talking about meatloaf? I went back and found a shitty recording of that from last year and just reposted it. I think it was from March 27th. I put something up of last year. I just reposted that today because I looked at it and started laughing. It's when you guys are making fun of me and Sturdy keeps going, oh, yeah, he's making meatloaf. He's making meatloaf. And PJ goes, he's cooking on his microwave. And I'm going, fucking Cliff. and then it was the ride out on the meatloaf you wrote in shit. But that was just like 4 hours ago, Dan, and you're talking about it. Sorry.
You know what? He said he's doing his crab boil with seafood boil with crab, lobster, shrimp. Are you putting chopped up sausage in there and corn on the cob?
He just said 3 different types.
No one Cliff the old horn dog. If his wife's asleep, he's doing something else with those lobsters before he boils them.
Man, I wish I was down
The
there.
crabs.
I would come over there too. That's nice. That's nice.
Hey, it's on Sunday. You have plenty of time to drive down here, PJ.
That's okay.
I'll be down. I'm coming down by you guys in Florida next winter, dude.
Yeah, he's gonna pick up a load.
You don't
right?
know it yet, but I am. Probably
you
for like
camp outside your house.
I need someplace to be the month of January and February because I certainly don't want to be here going through any more of this crap.
Foster, you have a spare room here. You're not redoing our roof.
I was gonna say, show up with a hammer and be like, I gotta redo your roof, guys. I see problems over here.
Where's your ladder at?
After 6 days with these guys cleaning out my house, I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm just gonna stick to pointing. I mean it. I'm done. When I'm sitting there trying to pull the bones out of my hand from rubbing on each other. I swear to God, that's what I was doing.
Hey.
So I'm done. I'm done doing that crap.
You're gonna set a tent up out in your yard.
I'm just gonna point because I'm gonna pull a little business on the side. My insurance guy said I might be able to do some work for him, and I'm like, okay, I got the guys. I'm gonna sit there and point all day. I don't care if I get $10 an hour for sitting there.
You'll come down and visit us in Florida, and you'll be seeing somebody work on somebody's house, and you'll be like, just go over there and do that. No, you're doing that all wrong, guys. Get out. No, you gotta get on the roof for that. I gotta tell you gotta get on the roof for that one.
Did you just walk up a ladder without carrying anything up there? Get the fuck back down there. That's the kind of shit we would do. Dude.
Work smarter, not harder.
I had a guy fall off a garage roof, and I looked at him, and you know what he did? Because he was drunk as shit. He grabs a bundle of shingles and goes back up and finishes the day roofing. Then calls me the next day, and he's like, dude, I think I really hurt myself. I'm like, yeah, you did. You fell about 8 feet off a roof and landed flat on your fucking back, grabbed an 88-pound bundle of shingles, climbed up the ladder again, and finished the fucking roof.
Drunk. And now you have a hangover.
Yeah, and you hurt. That's the kind of dumb shit we did. Look at right here. Chris has been doing this for a bit now, man. Every time I see him, fucking Foster instead of fucking Foster.
Fucking Foster, I tell you.
Foster.
I'm a fucking Irishman over here.
Fucking Notorious got in on it too. Fucking Booster.
Chris is laughing his ass off right now at me trying to make a British accent, and I keep going Irish. Fucking Foster. Aye.
Sounds more Scottish, actually.
Yeah, you're
Scottish, Irish, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
That's why he's a little skittish.
It's not Chris Watts' accent. I spent almost 2 weeks with Chris Watts and still couldn't get his damn accent.
So I guess this came up a couple hours ago, and George saying I'll be asleep when they trade the pick. Rappaport's saying Vikings, Raiders, Commanders, Patriots, and Giants all interested in trading up with the Bears.
That's
Vikings, Raiders, Patriots, and Giants.
Those
what are we going to do with the Vikings?
Those are the 5 teams that are getting all his measurables and reports.
Say it again. Name the 5 again.
Giants, Vikings,
Giants.
Bears, Washington.
No, Vikings, Giants, Patriots, and who?
Washington.
Commanders.
Fuck the Vikings.
Atlanta is not one of them.
Here now I literally want to make a trade with New England. Go look at their picks. I think it's New England. It's really Arizona's the one we want, but ain't happening. So has anybody looked at that? What's New England's picks?
So remember when we talked about the sharing of the medicals?
Yes.
God.
So it says here that
4 more hours left.
It says something about there'll be limit. I'm just reading this off real quick. It says there will be limits on sharing medical information based on the projected range of the top players. For example, number 1 pick will have his medicals shared only with teams picking in the top 10, players ranked 2 to 6, top 15, so on and so forth. So it's kind of weird. You're only getting Your medicals sounds like they're only going to the top 10 anyways. So why are you going to restrict them even further?
Because I don't
Where-
want anybody to know that I'm 5'11" and I weigh 192 pounds.
What's happened to PJ?
Yeah, I was going to say, where'd PJ go?
He had to go. He must have had to go, dude, or his thing fucked up because it's late.
His wife kicked him off. His wife's got his timer on his internet. He's not.
Hey, I wanted to ask you guys.
Give him a minute till he comes back.
So New England has got this. This would be possibly what we could get, especially since it's back another slot. Is pick 3, pick 34, pick 68, a first next year, and maybe a second the following year at the best. We might not even get the 64. Is that acceptable for the first pick? Pick
Well,
3.
Mm-hmm.
Pick 3, a first next year. What if they're the worst? That's probably one of the best picks to be the worst team next year. If you're going to trade that pick to somewhere. Because they're having problems with their defense and the offense needs a bunch. Think about it. That would be our route. That would be probably the best route other than maybe Arizona for the first pick. Seriously. Go look at the teams and see what's going on. But you would get pick 3, pick 34, next year's first, the following year's second, and possibly pick 68 or a swap of picks, like a 5th rounder for a 6th rounder, or maybe a 4th for a 5th, something like that. Even a 3rd for a 4th. Would you take that trade? Because now you're in a position to get MHJ and you've gotten a little bit of a haul.
Steve Grunwald saying you got my wheels turning with that offer.
I'm just, and that's realistic by the chart. I mean, I went a little above it on that pick 68 because I'm like, okay, so that's basically that's a beginning of 4th round pick. That's a decent position too with the depth in this draft. There's PJ. Thought he just didn't want to fucking hang out. He's like, I'm done with these guys.
No, my internet just went out. It's like,
I'm joking, Pete. You know that, but see now I'm not the only one because it's happened to everybody else.
Yeah,
something has.
I thought it was the whole
Jordy
show that
had
went
a
away.
camera.
Man.
Walt had StreamYard problems for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was really weird last week.
My camera keeps taking a shit. AT&T just lost their service for like an entire day. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
What was up with that shit, man?
So that's because weird. I missed it, can you guys tell me again who's the 5 teams that are trying to trade up with us?
Okay. Minnesota.
I'm going to take my 20-minute nap now, Cliff.
New England and the Giants.
New England, Giants, Minnesota, and who else?
Washington, Giants. Washington.
So Atlanta's not trying to trade up with us?
There's no mention of it.
I mean, they might be, but they weren't mentioned in the.
Atlanta did talk to the Bears about Fields. I'm sure that I know there was something made there. I don't even know what the offer was. Sam Rush in the house.
Sam, what's happening, Sam?
I'm sure multiple teams talked about Fields too.
Okay,
but Poles said in the interview, realistically, there's only 2. No, that was for the 1st round pick.
Right.
At the time, yeah.
There was only 2, and that was yesterday, I think.
So Steve saying
out of
Foster,
5 that he. Go ahead.
Foster. Steve wanted me to give my thoughts on your offer from New England. What is that offer?
Okay, so here, because now New England's in the mix, and this is one of my. I would prefer Arizona would be the team to work with, but my second is New England over Washington. So we'd get for the 1st round pick, Caleb Williams going to New England.
Okay.
Apparently, could be Drake May from what I'm hearing too in New England. It's his area. The Bears get pick 3, pick 34, a 1st next year, a 2nd the year after, and possibly pick. Let's just say pick 68 in the 4th round, beginning of 4th round
this year.
So you're adding 3. You're adding 3 picks this year, another 1st round for next year, and a 2nd round for the following year. You could take your choice even because from my understanding with the picks New England has next year, they could possibly afford to give you that 2nd pick next year if you wanted it. But I know the 2nd pick in 26 that you could get for sure.
Okay. It's okay, but in my head, I think what is on the table from Washington is this year's first, this year's both seconds, and next year's first. That's what I think Washington's offering. So I think that's a better deal than the New England's deal of a first, a second, a fourth, and then a first next year, and then a second the year after. I would rather go first, second this year, and the first next year.
So you're saying they get pick 2, pick 36, pick 40, next year's first, and what?
That's it. I'd rather take that.
I don't know. Well, if you take that, I mean, if I take that and they take Caleb, I'm going to try and trade again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I would take it, because if I can get that pick from Washington, now I'm at number 2. Somebody's going to try to come up and get one of those other 2 quarterbacks.
That's why I definitely would take the 3, because now I've got MHJ who I'm waving around. Instead of taking him, I'm going to possibly force. There's 2 or 3 teams that would want him. One of them being the Cardinals.
I think a team would more likely want to come up to get a quarterback than a MHJ. I think you can probably get more for a quarterback. So in my
I could see that.
So in my scenario, I'm going from 1 to 2, and I'm getting all those picks. And then if I'm going to pass up on Marvin for this other team can come get a quarterback, I'm getting another haul.
You'll be talking to Atlanta, like I said, at number 8.
Right. Thank you. I'll be getting a haul.
I should have proposed mine as Washington doesn't make you that big enough offer that you wanted.
Okay.
I should propose it there because I mean this is all just like you said, Pete. You go with logic.
Yeah, and I agree with Cliff to an extent too, though, because if I really want Marvin, I'm like, okay, New England, just give me something. Spot. Yeah, I mean, because if I'm already at number 2, just give me something. If nobody else is making me a big enough offer.
Yeah. The big difference is you're getting an extra second later, and you're not getting that second round, but you are getting a later second round. No, you're getting a later. Was that a 3rd round pick? I said.
You said fourth round.
No, you're literally getting with. Wait, the wrong one. Hold on, because I actually have these in my phone. I saved them. So yeah, you're getting the first, a second, and then a 3rd round.
Oh, okay. So you're getting the
3rd round with New England, and next year's first, and the year after that second.
Because reason why I'll say this, because we talked earlier about wanting a center as well as a safety in the 2nd round. That's why I'm going with Washington with their 2 second rounders. That's where I'm getting my 2nd round picks from.
I got you. I got totally correct, man. Because Washington's picks, and this is what they are. That means we'd be getting 2, 36, 40.
I can get Tyler Nubin and Cedric Van Pran.
You might even be able to trade 40 back and still get Van Pran.
Exactly.
I'm just throwing all the logical shit in there.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I'm with you.
So, but I would take, like, if those were like the big offers, either one of them, not both of them, I would take New England's offer. I think.
I don't know.
Well, now, but then see, that's when you're guaranteed MHJ, unless the Cardinals say I got to have them, and they give you 4 and 27.
Why do you think you would be guaranteed MHJ by trading now with New England as opposed to Washington?
Because Washington's going to take a quarterback.
Well, if I'm at number 2, I'm guaranteed to get a MHJ there too. If I'm trading,
like I said, Peach, if Washington offers that, I take that. If my only offer that was the best offer is the New England offer, say Washington's offer isn't both of those pick. It's only 40, and I'm not giving you a first next year to move up. I'm only giving you a second.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking New England's offer.
I agree.
You know what, guys? I think I know Dan's getting a little tired up there.
Yeah.
And we gotta save some stuff for next week.
I was just about to sign off and let you guys finish.
Well, I just wanted to address his scenario there because I missed it when my computer crashed.
So before we sign off, I do want to read this.
I have a job due tomorrow. I have to make intricate circuit boards for our military tomorrow.
You got to be Tyson's agent.
Two guys that are going to be there early. They're coming at 8:45. That's early for me. It's usually 9 o'clock. They're 9:15, 9:30.
So I just wanted to kind of end this on what we were talking about earlier. An interesting tidbit Greg Avery put out right here. He goes, the Combine was started in January of 1985. So it was the week after the Super Bowl. It's been held every year except 2021 because of COVID. So Williams is the first player to refuse to take the medical in the history of the Combine.
Not a good look.
Just a little bit tempting. Do that what you will.
Not a good look at all.
Not a good look.
Poles has had the conversation with. Was that today or is that tomorrow?
What?
When did Poles talk to Caleb Williams yet?
I thought it was last night, technically, or tonight.
That's what I thought too. Okay.
So I think it was
Somebody
before.
said he's talking to him tomorrow, and I'm like, wasn't that today or yesterday? Whatever.
It was tonight. I think it was. Supposedly, I think it was before this news broke.
Yeah.
Not a good look.
So, but like I said, do that what you will.
Yep. The gathering of information.
Yep.
Guys in the chat.
Trust.
Thank you guys for coming. Cliff Victorious, Sam Rush, Levante Rogers, Doug Van Dorn, Notorious TBG, Cliff Victoria, Doug Van Dorn.
Mark Kazak hanging out with us again.
Yes. Thanks, Mark, for joining us. Steve Grunwald.
Steve finally making it on time with us. We appreciate you, Steve.
Chris Watts
up to take a piss and a shit.
Alan
watching us on the toilet.
Alan Pena, thank you for joining us.
Bunch of new guys in there tonight. We appreciate all of you. Sco 6 Tray,
James Ford,
Alon's Dog 37,
STC,
James Sanders.
Sanders.
That's not really weird, Shorty. I knew a guy that would only make phone calls while sitting on the toilet. That's some strange stuff.
The one time I told Chris I was tweeting him on the toilet, he hasn't been able to give it up. He's like, "Are you talking to me on the shitter right now?" I'm like, no, it's just James Ford. Good to see you again tonight, Mr. Mayhem. You are the shit.
Dang.
All you regulars, man, you know who you are.
Thank you guys for joining us. Truly appreciate it.
New England could sign Wilson for $7 million on the season, and the Broncos would have to pay it.
It doesn't make sense. You're bringing in, you just moved off of the Bill Belichick era. It's kind of weird. I mean, I get bringing in a veteran quarterback, but they're more like if they're going to trade up, they're coming for the quarterback.
They're coming. They
what do you guys think of this?
Pick,
shut up, GCA.
No, we got to stop.
Antmas. You fucking guys.
We'll talk about it.
You guys can keep going for another fucking 6
Russell
hours.
Wilson to Atlanta because of his wife Sierra from down there.
That too.
Let's get that. Come on, everyone in chat. Chris Jones. That's
I can't scroll up for some reason the last 3 weeks, so I can't go find
I can scroll up very far either.
Oh, it's only going.
Scroll up at all.
I can't either, but I know Steve Phillips was in here. That's my cousin. Simon was in here. Good to see you. Chris Jones is another newbie.
Yes,
that's
Simon.
As far as I can go too. That's weird. That's very strange. Probably because they're like, we're running out of broadband.
It's been happening to me for 3 weeks. Please hit that like button, guys. Subscribe.
Yes,
and send us an email. Thank you. Because we want some of you guys on the shows coming up, man. We've got all this time after draft. We want people on the air.
Doug Van Dorn is going to come on with us for the draft. If you want to join us at any point for any show or to hang out with us on our draft marathon coming up.
Sam Rush, we're talking to you.
Sam Rush. Sam, we have
Alan Pena, Notorious TBG.
Sam, you are welcome to come on the show with us as well. We got Nomad coming on as a guest here soon. So the olive branch has been extended. You guys are welcome on the show.
Yes.
Love to have you on with us. Cliff, I'll see you on Sunday for that seafood boil. Can't wait.
Miss you, Sam. Miss you, Sam.
Sorry about that, Cliff.
Cliff, I'm sorry I can't make it. I wish I can get some of that crab boil. I mean, that seafood boil. That sounds good.
Wait, you want crabs? Is that what you were just about to say?
Oh, cut
Nope.
it.
No crabs? Okay.
Cut it.
Hey, Shorty, one more thing about Badgett.
Ah, crying out loud. Go ahead.
I thought it was only me and Shorty that got pulled for the show.
Well, at least we know Tyson Bagent will be an ever-running joke on this show.
Man.
I pulled myself as soon as I said Bagent, guys.
Oh, I can't wait. If it happens one day.
All right, guys. Good night. Appreciate it.
I'll be laughing at all you guys.
Okay. Good night.
What if you would not let me finish?
All right, good night. Okay. Good night.
Everybody stay safe. God bless. Have a great weekend, man.
Be safe out there, guys. Love one another.
We're here next week.
It's muted.
You'll hear from us again, whether you like it or not.
Love your families. Love on your families. Love on your families. Love on your families.
I muted them.
Guys. Seriously, all you guys in chat, I promise you, 1,000,000%, it is all about you.
And
We
no more
promise
Bagent
you
stories.
that. We all promise you that from the bottom of our hearts. Without you, we would not even want to do this. So thank you. Thank you. Please tell your friends.
Unless he paid me $100,000.
Please, I tried to pay you, but you wouldn't take it. Please set your notifications. Walt over here took it though. You wouldn't. None of you fuckers would take it, but Walt did.
It's still sitting there, honestly.
He pays you guys. He said he had like a $20 check for me, and then he just made me send him $50 last week. Fuck.
I love you guys, man. Oh, you fuckers. Seriously,
guys.
everyone in chat, we love you guys, and I promise you, without you, we would not be doing this. Seriously, from the bottom of our hearts. We will see you next Thursday on BCP. I think our guest is going to be Nomad from the Nomad Network. And like I said, Sam, you guys are welcome. Just let me know. We'll have you on the show. And I want to just end the show with a quick, before we do the Bears, I just want to end with a what if? What if? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Justin Fields.
Got blisters on me brain.